Chapter 381. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Zhao Tianming's intention was to have a life-and-death battle. Furthermore, he had already made his intentions clear. Since you're so confident, go ahead and spar. Yu Yangyu smiled. You want to kill Night Sorrow? He wasn't worried at all. Tianming, then do whatever you want. The Valley Master will not interfere. Zhao Guanyu stood up and said in the direction of the Starry Clouds sect. He was using his words to stop Yu Yangyu from stopping Yu Yangyu. Sigh. Sometimes ignorance is really deadly. On the side of Holy Light Religion, Ho Qingjie looked at Zhao Tianming with pitiful eyes. Others might not know, but after yesterday's sparring session, Ho Qingjie finally understood just how terrifying Night Sorrow was. Lei Bao and Lei Ming also looked at each other. The two of them knew that Zhao Tianming was in for a tragedy. You want a battle to the death, right? Then just say it. I'll accept it. Also, I, Night Sorrow, am standing right here. Whoever wants to fight me to the death, come up. Night Sorrow said coldly as he waved his reincarnation spear. Following which, Zhao Tianming swung his arm and a greatsword appeared in his hand. Without saying a word, he swung his greatsword at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow waved his right hand, and the reincarnation spear, which was imbued with vibrational force, pierced out. Following closely behind the vibrational force was the spiral force, which was unleashed by the myriad Tao Tome's energy. Love go little say kabang. With a muffled sound, Zhao Tianming's blade was knocked away by Night Sorrow's spear. However, Zhao Tianming's strength was also very strong. He was also able to disperse Night Sorrow's true qi. However, he wasn't able to block Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear's attack. The energy from Night Sorrow's myriad Tao Tome burst forth and he immediately executed the 7 stars dazzling moon spear technique with a spiral force. 4 spear lights merged into one and pierced towards Zhao Tianming's neck. Zhao Tianming did not retreat. He felt that he had dispersed a wave of Night Sorrow's true qi. Night Sorrow's spear technique looked sharp, but in reality, it was just for show. Zhao Tianming quickly gathered some true qi and once again waved his blade. Hiss. As the spiraling energy on the Night Sorrow reincarnation spear erupted, Zhao Tianming's battle saber was pushed away. Then, the Night Sorrow reincarnation spear pushed forward and the spear light pierced through Zhao Tianming's throat. Battle. There were tens of thousands of spectators in the Pill Cauldron Square. At this moment, it was dead silent. Zhao Tianming, who was at the peak of the spirit-severing stage, was instantly killed. Zhao Guanyu narrowed his eyes and looked at Yishang. He had originally planned to let Zhao Tianming test Yishang's strength, but before he could do anything, he was killed. Are you waiting to be beaten up? You too should learn from him. Lei Jun, who was sitting in front of the two, said. The Medicine Valley's disciples cheered. Night Sorrow was the most reliable disciple in the Medicine Valley. No matter when, as long as Night Sorrow made a move, it would be the most reliable. Night Sorrow turned his head and looked in the direction of the Nebula sect. He knew that the battle had just begun. The Nebula sect would continue to attack. Zhao Tianfei, go up and try. Remember to be steady. Zhao Guanyu said to a man behind him. A middle-aged man stood up and walked towards the center of the arena. Rank 4 was no longer a low-level cultivator. It wasn't easy to reach this stage. It was already very good to reach rank 4 at the age of 30 or 40. After all, Night Sorrow, Lei Bao, Ho Jian, and Ho Qingjie were all geniuses in the Eastern Profound Domain. Seeing Zhao Tianfei enter the arena, Night Sorrow executed the soaring dragon steps. After taking a few steps, his body soared into the air and he smashed his spear towards Zhao Tianfei's head. Night Sorrow didn't execute any spear art. He just infused it with vibration force and smashed it with great force. Hearing the reincarnation spear's piercing sound, Zhao Tianfei's legs trembled and he quickly retreated. Night Sorrow, who was in the air, waved his arm and swung the reincarnation spear behind him. He borrowed the force and rushed forward. He stretched out his right hand and punched towards Zhao Tianfei's chest. Seeing Night Sorrow's fist, Zhao Tianfei slashed his saber towards Night Sorrow's left hand. He was afraid of Night Sorrow's spear art, but he wasn't afraid of his fist. Night Sorrow continued to extend his left hand. During the process, he opened his 5 fingers and slightly curled them, executing the mysterious jade hands. The moment he was about to clash with Zhao Tianfei's saber, Night Sorrow's left hand swayed and dodged Zhao Tianfei's saber. He grabbed the back of Zhao Tianfei's saber and swung the reincarnation spear in his right hand towards Zhao Tianfei's head. Zhao Tianfei's expression changed. His right hand trembled as he tried to pull his saber back twice. He gritted his teeth and tilted his body. His right leg suddenly kicked towards Night Sorrow's abdomen. This was a fight where both sides would suffer. Zhao Tianfei didn't dare to abandon his weapon. If he didn't have a weapon in this kind of fight, it was no different from courting death. Night Sorrow's left hand didn't let go of Zhao Tianfei's saber. The reincarnation spear in his right hand continued to smash downwards. At the same time, the myriad Tao Tome's energy was channeled to his abdomen. He poured his true qi into the reincarnation spear and didn't withdraw it. Bang! Zhao Tianfei's kick landed on Night Sorrow's abdomen. A muffled sound rang out, but Night Sorrow's body didn't move at all. Zhao Tianfei's expression was unsightly. He felt as if he had kicked an iron plate. The bones in his foot had already shattered. To Zhao Tianfei, the shattering of his foot bones wasn't a big deal. The greatest danger was Night Sorrow's spear smashing downwards. Min be fast p up v Zhao Tianfei let go of his saber and quickly retreated. You want to leave? It's too late. Night Sorrow poured the energy from the myriad Tao Tome into his right arm. The reincarnation spear's smashing speed suddenly increased and directly smashed onto Zhao Tianfei's shoulder. Following a crisp "kachif" sound, the bones in the right half of Zhao Tianfei's body were shattered. He was directly smashed to the ground. Following which, Night Sorrow took a step forward. His right knee heavily smashed onto Zhao Tianfei's chest, sending him flying. Night Sorrow didn't continue to pursue. He knew that Zhao Tianfei's internal organs would be shattered after receiving his full-force knee strike. There was no chance of him surviving. Zhao Tianfei, who was sent flying for 6 to 7 meters, landed on the ground. His body twitched irregularly twice before he stopped moving. In the battle, Zhao Tianfei only used 1 saber and 1 kick before he was violently killed by Night Sorrow. He was already at the 9th level of the spirit severing stage, but he was still killed so miserably. I didn't give any gifts for my master's honorable stage celebration. I just used this blood to wish my master a prosperous future. Aren't we going to have a life and death battle? Then I'll be right here. Next. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and turned to look at the nebulous sex area. Damn, this is a mad dog. In the southern Dipper sex area, Nan Liue whispered. Now you know that you can't provoke this guy, right? Nan Ziyun glanced at Nan Liue and said. This is nothing. Let's continue watching. The previous battle was much bloodier. It will be even bloodier in a while. Come on. I like that scene. Nan Xing said excitedly. Chapter 382. Geniuses remember love in 1 second. We will provide you with interesting novels to read. What do you know? This is a real man. He is usually gentle and refined, but when he gets angry, he is like a volcano erupting. You guys should learn from him. Nan Liue glared at Nan Yi and continued to watch the arena. His blood and chi rushed to the top and formed essence chi smoke. There was no problem for him to take a kick. His body has truly reached maturity, Nan Ziyun said with some emotion. When he took the kick, I heard a crisp sound. That was the sound of bones breaking. Now that he is fine, it means that the one who broke the bones was that unlucky guy. Nan Liuel looked at Xiao Tianfei's corpse and said. At this moment, Night Sorrow's white battle robe was fluttering in the wind. The reincarnation spear in his right hand was slanted towards the ground. I like this feeling. Didn't you guys want to have a life and death battle? Continue. Night Sorrow said coldly when he saw that the people of Star Cloud's sect were looking at him with hostility. Too arrogant. Zhao Wuji leaped into the air and landed on the arena from the Star Cloud sect's side. There is nothing to be arrogant about. Whoever wants to slap our Medicine Valley's face, slap my face, I will slap them back. Night Sorrow looked at Zhao Wuji coldly. You have to have the strength to do so, Zhao Wuji said as he waved the battle blade in his hand. The Golden Flame sect said the same thing back then. Everyone knows the truth. If there are still people who are asking for a beating, I will continue to kill them. Night Sorrow made his words clear. As long as one wasn't stupid, they would know that Night Sorrow was talking about the Star Cloud sect. You are courting death. Zhao Wuji's body flashed, leaving behind an afterimage. His battle blade slashed towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't retreat at all. He waved his reincarnation spear and 4 spear lights merged into one and pierced towards Zhao Wuji's throat. Zhao Wuji turned his body, changed his direction, and continued to attack. Night Sorrow rotated his body and simply thrust out his reincarnation spear, sealing off Zhao Wuji's path of advance. Following that, he began to test the waters with guerrilla warfare. The two of them clashed once. Night Sorrow realized that Zhao Wuji had used a special technique to generate energy. The energy stacked on top of each other, and Night Sorrow's vibration sutra was unable to shake it off. Then, Night Sorrow used spiraling force. If he couldn't shake it off, then he would use a penetrating attack. Foi is version equals H initial L5. Zhao Wuji was the strongest 4th stage disciple of the Star Cloud sect. He had a lot of battle experience, so he didn't fight Night Sorrow head-on. Instead, he moved around and looked for an opportunity to attack. Zhao Wuji felt that Night Sorrow was young and impatient. Furthermore, Night Sorrow's cultivation wasn't as high as his, so he felt that a battle of attrition would be more effective. After 2 rounds of guerrilla warfare, the energy of the myriad Tao Tome in Night Sorrow's body exploded. A part of it rushed towards his legs, and his speed instantly increased. His body left an afterimage as he rushed in front of Zhao Wuji. He waved his reincarnation spear and instantly shot out 4 spears. His target was Zhao Wuji's throat. Night Sorrow's speed instantly increased, and Zhao Wuji wasn't prepared. Even if he was prepared, he couldn't dodge in time. He could only wave his blade to block. Ding! With a crisp sound, Zhao Wuji's body was pushed back by Night Sorrow's spear. Zhao Wuji's right arm was raised behind him. It was obvious that he was at a disadvantage. Night Sorrow's true chi had a strong penetrating power. In addition to his great strength, Zhao Wuji was at a disadvantage. After gaining the upper hand in one move, Night Sorrow's feet shook. After approaching Zhao Wuji, he attacked with his reincarnation spear again. This time, he used the vibration force. Zhao Wuji's true chi was shaken by his attack just now. Night Sorrow believed that he could break Zhao Wuji's defense by using the vibration force again. At this moment, Zhao Wuji's face was filled with shock. He wanted to use his speed to increase the distance between them, but the true chi in his dantian was shaken violently by Night Sorrow's spear and couldn't be used. In a panic, he could only use his blade to defend. His method of releasing energy was suitable for defense, so he believed that he could block Night Sorrow's attack. However, Night Sorrow's method changed. This time, his reincarnation spear didn't directly stab towards Xiao Wuji's battle blade. When their weapons were about to clash, the reincarnation spear moved up an inch and continued to stab. Xiao Wuji raised his right hand and waved his battle blade to block Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. The moment his battle blade touched Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear, the vibration force on Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear exploded. Buzz! A strong vibration sound rang out. Xiao Wuji's battle blade was shaken off, and his arm was swung backwards. Night Sorrow pressed his wrist, and the reincarnation spear, which had been shaken up by half a foot, returned to its original path towards Xiao Wuji's chest. Xiao Wuji's eyes were filled with fear as his body dodged to the side. He dodged very quickly, but Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was even faster. It directly pierced through his right chest. After his spear succeeded, Night Sorrow twisted his right hand and swung it, throwing Xiao Wuji over his head and onto the ground. If Night Sorrow didn't twist his wrist, he would have pierced through Xiao Wuji's chest. What Night Sorrow needed was control, so he twisted his reincarnation spear a little. This way, Xiao Wuji's wound wouldn't be cut open. After throwing Xiao Wuji onto the ground, Night Sorrow pulled out his reincarnation spear and pressed it against Xiao Wuji's neck. Am I arrogant? Xiao Wuji's mouth was filled with blood. He was so anxious that he couldn't speak. I said, if anyone wants to slap Medicine Valley's face, if anyone wants to slap Night Sorrow's face, then I will slap them back. Just now, you said that you need to have strength. Then I will use strength to tell you. After speaking, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear slashed across Xiao Wuji's throat. Then, he shook his reincarnation spear again. Xiao Wuji's finger, which was wearing a storage ring, was cut off by Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow grabbed Xiao Wuji's finger with his left hand and flicked it with his middle finger. Then, he kept the storage ring. Then, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear shook again. Zhao Tianming and Zhao Tianfei's fingers, which were wearing storage rings, were cut off. Because Night Sorrow was in the arena, the people from Star Cloud's sect couldn't even collect the corpses. Now that the people from Star Cloud's sect dared to enter the arena, they would definitely be met with Night Sorrow's violent killing. Cool. Even the way he snatched the storage ring was so cool. Nan Liu said. Cousin, I remember that you said that his gentle appearance made you angry. Nan Xing said. That's because I didn't know him well at that time. This domineering appearance is a real man. Nan Liu said. On the Thunder Rumbling sect's side, Lei Bao and Lei Jing stood up and clapped. They were cheering for Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's heroic spirit and domineering aura had infected them. It was the same on the Holy Light sect's side. Ho Jian and Ho Qingjia also stood up. The most violent was the Medicine Valley's area. The disciples of Taishan Peak's area let out wave after wave of cheers. Next was the Crepe Myrtle's area. The female disciples of Crepe Myrtle kept screaming. Night Sorrow turned around and gently pressed down with his left hand. Then, he looked at the Star Cloud sect's side. I know that this is not your trump card. I also know that you have an alliance with the Red Cloud sect. When you go back, tell the Red Cloud sect that I won't meet any of their disciples in the future. If I do, I will kill them. Okay, back to the topic. If you want to attack the Medicine Valley's momentum, then come at me. I'm too lazy to play with you. I will kill whoever comes. Night Sorrow made a strong declaration. Blood Red Mountain stood up and slowly walked to the arena. I am Blood Red Mountain. Today, I want to see how strong you are. Blood Red Mountain concealed his surname and only said his name. Chapter 383. Genius 1 second remember love go divided by little. Talk Web, providing you with wonderful novels to read. Lei Zhang's words were too vicious. Cultivators almost never used vulgarities, but Lei Zhang used words like old ass eye and old white face. This was even more vicious than using swords and spears to cut people. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs.com shut your stinky mouth. Blood Red Mountain looked in the direction of the thunder rumbling sect and roared. I already said it. What can you do to me? You're a few hundred years old and you won't let people talk about you. If I were you, I would drown myself in piss and not come out to embarrass myself. Night Sorrow, help me kill him. Lei Jing shouted again. Night Sorrow didn't turn around. He only stretched out his left hand and gave him a thumbs up. Old bastard, you'll know the consequences of scolding me in a while. Lei Jing insulted Blood Red Mountain again and sat down. You're really embarrassing yourself. Lei Jun glanced at Lei Jing and said. It's nothing. I'm just being honest. I'll say whatever I want. Although my words are a bit rude, they are still the truth. Lei Jiuyun said. On the stage, Night Sorrow and Blood Red Mountain looked at each other. After killing 3 disciples of the Star Cloud sect, Night Sorrow only stretched his body and didn't use much energy. However, he didn't look down on Blood Red Mountain. Blood Red Mountain had lived for a few hundred years. Not to mention his talent, his battle experience and skills must be very strong. If he wasn't an idiot, how could he do the same thing for a few hundred years? Practice makes perfect. The two looked at each other for a while and then started to attack each other. During the battle, Night Sorrow realized that Blood Red Mountain was really strong. His true chi was more abundant than his and he also had 2 types of energy techniques. One was the explosive force like thunderstorm and the other was the revolving force. Moreover, the 2 types of energy techniques could be switched quickly. After the explosive force was used, the revolving force would wrap around the saber to defend. However, Blood Red Mountain couldn't gain the upper hand at all. Night Sorrow poured his true chi into the reincarnation spear and the 3 types of energy techniques were switched continuously. He was still able to suppress Blood Red Mountain. After suppressing the Blood Red Mountain, Night Sorrow's myriad Tao Tome's energy also exploded. His innate chi and the myriad Tao Tome's energy attacked one after another. When it collided with Blood Red Peak's explosive force, Night Sorrow used the relatively gentle wave force to restrain it, and then used the relatively more aggressive vibration sutra and spiral force to attack. Night Sorrow's body alternated between the 2 types of energy, which was much more ferocious than Scarlet Peak's Shin Chi, completely suppressing Scarlet Peak. Seeing this situation, Blood Red Peak immediately understood that this battle was not going to work. He could feel that Night Sorrow had 2 different types of energy. If this battle continued, he would be the first to exhaust himself. Stealing his heart, Blood Red Mountain waved the long sword in his right hand and pushed the reincarnation spear towards Night Sorrow. Then, he moved forward and punched towards Night Sorrow with his left fist. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was suitable for long-range battles, so he wanted to engage in close combat. Night Sorrow was also eager to engage in close combat. When Blood Red Peak punched out, Night Sorrow raised his left hand and used the energy-destroying hand. This unlucky guy, he still dares to engage in close combat with Night Sorrow. He must be tired of living. A close combat Night Sorrow is a human-shaped weapon. Nanxing said. Just as Nanxing was speaking, a 2 chi-wide energy whirlpool appeared in Night Sorrow's hand and slapped it onto Blood Red Peak's left hand, who was still in shock. With a loud explosion, blood and flesh flew everywhere. One of Blood Red Peak's arms was gone, blown into pieces. After using the energy-destroying hand, Night Sorrow quickly changed his left hand and used the mysterious jade hands to grab Blood Red Peak's right arm. He ignored Blood-Red Peak's knee that was about to hit his abdomen. With the myriad Tao Tome's energy protecting his body, he quickly slashed the reincarnation spear in his right hand and directly cut off Blood-Red Peak's right arm. Bang! Blood-Red Peak's knee hit Night Sorrow's abdomen, producing a muffled sound. Night Sorrow's body swayed for a moment, then he leaned forward and punched Blood-Red Peak's throat. Soon after, Night Sorrow pointed his reincarnation spear towards the sky. A storage ring fell from the sky and landed on the tip of the spear. This was the storage ring that Blood-Red Peak was wearing on his left hand. It had just been blown away by the explosion and was now falling down. Night Sorrow put away the storage ring as if there was no one else around. Then, he raised his thumb towards the thunder-rumbling Sex Lei Jing. Soon after, Night Sorrow stretched his neck and shook off the flesh on Blood-Red Peak's left arm. Night Sorrow turned around and looked in the direction of the Starry Cloud sect. Today, I'm in the mood. Who wants to fight? There's no need to go up one by one. Come up together. Let's see if I, Night Sorrow, will kill you or I, Night Sorrow, will fall. Night Sorrow said coldly as he waved his reincarnation spear. Nan Liuel looked at Yi Shang on the stage and muttered to herself, "This guy is simply crazy. Is he going to fight a group of people by himself?" In the alternate dimension, he was able to kill a group of people from the Scarlet Cloud sect. This means that he's good at group battles. Nan Xian said. Night Sorrow's words didn't just shock the Southern Dipper sect. The other sects were the same. Not to mention his strength, just his boldness alone wasn't something that an ordinary person could have. The Starry Cloud sect didn't reply. Their rank 4 disciples were all shocked by Night Sorrow. The strongest rank 4 disciples in the sect, Zhao Tianming, Zhao Tianfei, were all dead. How would they dare to fight? 13, that's enough. You can come back. Yu Yangyu said. Night Sorrow swung his reincarnation spear and placed it on his back. Then, he cupped his hands at the various sects and walked towards the Medicine Valley seats. With every step Night Sorrow took, there was a pa-pa sound under his feet. It was the sound of his combat boots being soaked in blood. All the disciples of the Medicine Valley stood up to welcome Night Sorrow, followed by thunderous applause. What was exhilaration? This was exhilaration. Continuous killing and killing until the opponent didn't dare to make a sound. What was boundlessly domineering? Night Sorrow gave the perfect interpretation. He could kill a group of people by himself and they wouldn't dare to come out. Night Sorrow walked to Wu Qi and threw a few storage rings to him. Second senior brother, distribute these to my other senior brothers. Under the Great Elder's instructions, the disciples of the Medicine Valley added a chair next to the main seat. More X. New fastest TX on %% only the Supreme Elder, the Valley Master, the Vice Valley Master, and the Elders had seats in the main seat area. 13, good job. Chu Lingxiao waved at Night Sorrow not far away from Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. Looking at Night Sorrow's smile, Chu Lingxiao was stunned. Night Sorrow's smile was very simple. It was completely different from the Night Sorrow in the arena. If it wasn't for Night Sorrow's blood-stained combat clothes, he would be no different from a simple young man in the mountains. After Night Sorrow stepped down from the arena, no one went up. The impact of the battle just now was too strong. Who would go up and embarrass themselves? Then, the celebration came to an end. Once the celebration ended, Ho Jian, Ho Qingjie, and the Lei Bao brothers came over. Domineering. There's nothing to say. I won't spar with you anymore. Ho Jian said with a smile. Brother, I won't say anything. I'm very happy that you killed that old asshole. Lei Zheng said with a smile. Chapter 384. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Vulgar. Don't you think it's disgusting that guy who's a few hundred years old and still pretending to be a rank 4? Lei Jing said. Love go little say webku, it's indeed disgusting. Night sorrow, let's get to know each other again. My name is Nan Liue. I've offended you before, please don't take offense. Nan Liue said. You're exaggerating. How could I not know what you've offended? We're friends since we've come to Medicine Valley. Night sorrow said. Hee hee. Well said, Ho Jian, you should learn how to be magnanimous. Nan Liue turned her attention back to Ho Jian. Just pretend I'm not here. Ho Jian said speechlessly. Then, the group went to Bamboo Forest Peak together. Ninth senior sister, Chu Yu, help me entertain them. I'm going to take a bath. Night Sorrow rode his Tianyu to a stream not far from Bamboo Forest Peak. He took a bath and changed into a clean robe. When Night Sorrow came back, the group was drinking tea. However, Nan Liue and Ho Jian weren't very good. Nan Liue stepped on a stool with one foot and slammed the table with the other hand, arguing with Ho Jian. What are you talking about? So passionate. Night Sorrow sat down and asked. This bastard robbed me of an oar last time. He won't admit that he's in the wrong. Ho Jian, remember this. If I enter the rank 5 first, I'll deal with you even if I have to chase after the Holy Light Temple. Nan Liue stared at Ho Jian and said. Nan Liue, we've done a lot of missions together, right? Although there's competition, there's also danger. When have I ever not stood in front of you? When have I ever let you get hurt? Ho Jian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. We're all young people. Sometimes, friendships are forged through fighting. Among the people here, Lei Bao and Lei Jing have fought against each other before. I almost died at the hands of Ho Jian. As long as it doesn't involve a huge grudge, there's nothing we can't do, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Listen to her, Ho Jian, you're still lacking, Nan Liue said. Ho Jian lowered his head and didn't say anything. It was useless for him to say anything now. In front of the unreasonable Nan Liue, no matter what he did, he would still be defeated. Ho Qingjie pointed at Night Sorrow and said, Uncle, I'm thinking about something. With him around, do we still have a chance? Ha! You don't have to worry about that. Once my cultivation increases, I'll leave the Eastern Xian region to explore the outside world. Love Go Little Say Kunite Sorrow didn't hide anything from them and directly told them his thoughts. Are you planning to go out? That's great. Call me when the time comes. There's no point in being a tyrant in the Eastern Xian region. I also want to go out and explore, Ho Jian said. Then I have to be part of this, Lei Bao said. Then I have nothing to say. Since you guys aren't going to stay in the Eastern Xian region, there's no point for me to stay in the Eastern Xian region by myself. Call me when you're leaving, Nan Liue said. Going out as a group. Just thinking about it makes me happy. When the time comes, we'll make a name for the Eastern Xian region. Every time the seniors in the sect say that the Eastern Xian region is the weakest among the 9 regions, I feel suffocated, Lei Jing said. Then I'll think about it, Night Sorrow said. 13, you're very bold today, but you've also completely offended the Star Cloud sect, Yang Lei said. So what? What can they do? They're allies with the Scarlet Cloud sect. Aren't the Medicine Valley and our Southern Dipper sect also allies? If they want to fight, then let's fight. Nan Liue said indifferently. That's right. Didn't our enforcement elder also say that we just need to call if we need anything? Lei Bao said. Then thank you. There's a place to rest here. I also have a courtyard in Danding City. You guys can play for a while before going back, Night Sorrow invited. Lei Bao and Lei Jing aside, Ho Jian and Ho Qingjie were also very easy to communicate with. Furthermore, Nan Liyue was also very calm. Of course. We're going to crepe myrtle. If the two of them can hook up, so can my uncle and I, Ho Qingjie said. A bunch of shameless people. Nan Sheng, go back and tell the elders that I'm going to play in the Medicine Valley for a while. Night Sorrow, you have enough bamboo houses here. Arrange one for me, Nan Liyue said to Nan Sheng and the others. Yang Lei arranged a place for Nan Liyue. Night Sorrow really has a good eye. Not only is he strong in combat, but he's also better in other aspects, Nan Liyue said with a smile after thanking Yang Lei for arranging a place for her. Haha, have fun here. Call me if you need anything, Yang Lei said with a smile. While Night Sorrow, Lei Bao, and the others were chatting, the higher-ups of the Medicine Valley were all in the main hall after arranging for the guests. It could also be said that it was a small meeting. Valley Master, we have to study 13's problem carefully. We can't let him do as he pleases. We have to push him to the position of the Valley Master's successor, Lu Qinyun said. Yes. He hasn't reached the peak of the 4th stage yet, but he can already sweep through the 4th stage. There's a lot of room for him to develop in the future. He's now the face of our Medicine Valley, another elder said. Let me say a few words. Night Sorrow's ambition is far beyond the Medicine Valley. If we restrict him, it will only be counterproductive. Let him develop according to his own wishes. His achievements are actually the achievements of the Medicine Valley. So, don't worry about it, it's meaningless, Hua Yunping said. We need to change the way we treat him. He doesn't need to compete for the heaven list anymore. Who will fight with him? He was a heaven-ranked disciple in the past. It's not easy to change it now, the great elder said after thinking for a while. Night Sorrow doesn't care about these things. He's my disciple. I understand him. He cares about emotions, not resources. If he cares, he can exchange the teleportation array and the Golden Flames Palace for any resources with the sect, Yu Yangyu said. Let's leave this matter for now. We'll talk about it again when he reaches the 5th stage. Also, pay more attention to the movements of the Star Cloud sect and the Red Cloud sect, Hua Yunping said. In the next few days, Night Sorrow cultivated at night and accompanied Ho Jian, Lei Bao, Nan Liyue, and the others to play in the Medicine Valley during the day. Half a month later, when they all left, Night Sorrow's side finally quieted down. After greeting Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu, Night Sorrow went to Danding Cliff to cultivate. He wanted to quickly raise his cultivation to the peak of the spirit severing stage. This time, Night Sorrow climbed to the 6,900-meter platform of Danding Cliff to cultivate. This was a position that many late-stage 5th stage Medicine Valley members couldn't reach. The record for the spirit severing stage at Danding Cliff was 6,300 meters. The record for the 5th stage wasn't even at the Heaven Stairway. /B/look at the 4th edition. Chapter. #section unspecified currency plus. Under normal circumstances, it was already very good for a 5th stage cultivator to reach 7,000 meters. Staying on the 6,900-meter platform, Night Sorrow held the ice spirit blood essence and began to cultivate. Time slipped away bit by bit. Night Sorrow's cultivation was steadily improving. His true energy cultivation was slightly slower. It required too much energy to reach the peak of the spirit severing stage from the 9th level of the spirit severing stage. On the other hand, the myriad Tao Tome improved very quickly and had already entered the middle stage of the consolidation realm. Chapter 385. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We provide you with interesting novels to read. Yishang stayed at Pill Tripod Cliff for a month during his cultivation. After a month of cultivation, his true chi cultivation had reached the peak of level 9 spirit severing. His Book of Myriad Tao cultivation had also reached the peak of level 5 consolidation realm with the support of the blood essence of Ice Spirit. Looking at the blood essence of Ice Spirit in his hand, Night Sorrow stood up and decided to end his cultivation. Although he had reached the peak of spirit severing, Night Sorrow felt that his true chi cultivation was not complete yet. He could still continue to condense it. Now, the quantity of true chi was saturated, but the quality and smoothness were not enough. This was not something to be rushed. He needed to settle down slowly. Only when it was complete could he advance. This was the bottleneck. There were many peak level 4 cultivators, but they were all stuck at this point and could not advance to level 5. If he could not condense his cultivation to the extreme and polish his true chi, he would not be able to cross this bottleneck. As for Night Sorrow's Book of Myriad Tao, with the support of the blood essence of Ice Spirit, it did not matter where he cultivated. Then, Night Sorrow began to charge towards the 7,000-meter platform of Danding Peak. With the increase of his cultivation, Night Sorrow's strength had increased a lot. Although it was difficult, he still stood on the 7,000-meter platform. Standing on the 7,000-meter platform, Night Sorrow looked up and saw that there were only 200 meters to climb. The rest of the climb was foggy and could not be seen. Baidu search love go xiao shua www.aichux. Xiaom on the 7,000-meter platform, Night Sorrow drank a jar of wine and went down Danding Cliff. At the bottom of Danding Cliff, Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Elder Su. Peak of level 9 spirit severing. Don't try to advance so easily. Be steady. This is very important. Elder Su said. I understand. Thank you for your concern. Night Sorrow bowed. How high have you climbed? Elder Su asked. 7,000 meters, but it is very difficult. If there is nothing else, I will return first. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Elder Su and walked towards the bamboo forest peak. As he walked, he enjoyed the scenery. Night Sorrow took an hour to return to the bamboo forest peak. That's right. What we need to do next is to stabilize our cultivation base. Night Sorrow, you must be careful. There are a few obstacles for cultivators. It's difficult to advance from the essence gathering realm to the core condensation realm, while it's difficult to advance from the spirit severing realm to the void inquiry stage. Therefore, you can only try to break through this bottleneck when you have the confidence to do so. Seeing that Night Sorrow had returned, Yang Lei said. Night Sorrow nodded. He now felt that he was lacking. Although he could forcefully break through, the consequences would be severe. In the following days, Night Sorrow condensed his vital energy at night. At the same time, he cultivated the Myriad Tao Tome and tried to stimulate his innate energy points. In the morning, he practiced his spear arts and studied the techniques of exerting energy. In the afternoon, he played with Tianyu and Silver Fox, and watched the scenery with the two girls. Night Sorrow spent half a month like this. Finally, Enforcer Dong arrived at the bamboo forest peak. Wu Qi brought him here. Since Enforcer Dong is here, there must be something. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for Enforcer Dong and said. Someone wants to see you. As for the details, I don't know either. The people Enforcer Dong received were all external personnel of Tianji Tower. When it came to the Black Tower, he did not have much authority. Night Sorrow knew that it was the higher-ups of Tianji Tower who wanted to see him. After sending Enforcer Dong off, he packed up with Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei and went to the Tai Xian Palace to greet Wu Qi. After that, they went to the Pill Tripod Peak. Night Sorrow planned to inform Yu Yangyu about it. However, they did not meet him because Yu Yangyu, who had entered the Venerable Realm, also needed to improve his cultivation base. Riding on a flying beast, the three of them arrived at the City Lord Mansion. Then, Night Sorrow went to the Tianji Tower. In the private room of the Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow saw Yin Shui. Lady Yin Shui. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Yin Shui. You showed your prowess again. Amazing. Yin Shui smiled and pointed at the chair opposite her. Lady Yin Shui, don't tease me. What's the matter? Night Sorrow sat down and asked. Yes. This time, it's a special and serious matter. So, I came to find you and a few other people. Yin Shui said. What's the matter? Night Sorrow asked. Yin Shui then explained the specific situation. There was a problem in the Eastern Xian region's realm sea. The 9 regions and 18 prefectures were actually 9 continents in the boundless sea. Each continent was divided into 2 prefectures because of a crack. The problem this time was in the area between the Eastern Xian region and the Northern Sea region. Demonic beasts with death and darkness qi often appeared in the realm sea. The source of the demonic beasts had not been found yet. This was a serious matter because such a disaster had happened before. 3,000 years ago, there were dark demonic beasts and dark cultivators who invaded the 9 regions and 18 prefectures, almost causing the fall of the 3 origin region. Countless cultivators and ordinary civilians died. In the end, all the high-level cultivators of the 9 regions and 18 prefectures were dispatched to eliminate the dark demonic beasts and cultivators. Now that such a thing happened, the Eastern Xian region was especially concerned about it. Therefore, they planned to send a few small teams of adventurers to investigate. The City Lord Mansion of the Eastern Xian City had made arrangements and so did the Tianji Tower. It seems like the matter is very serious. Night Sorrow understood the seriousness of the matter. Yes. The realm sea does not affect venerables and cultivators below the void inquiry stage. However, it will be troublesome for venerables and void inquiry stage cultivators to enter. There is the power of law in the realm sea. The power of law will suppress venerables' spirit sense and destroy their foundation. Yin Shui explained to Night Sorrow. I understand. When do we depart? Where do I go to receive my orders? Night Sorrow asked. Go directly to Eastern Xian City. There are still some people who need to gather, Yin Shui said. All right. I'll make some preparations and leave right away. Night Sorrow stood up and said. Also, this time, we need to gather some members of the Black Watch and patrol the Tianji Tower. The mission is a little dangerous. So, we won't be gathering your 2 fiancés. Go back and tell them to come find me. We'll go to Eastern Xian City together, Yin Shui said. I understand. Thank you, Master. Night Sorrow was stunned for a moment. He had forgotten that Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu were patrolling the Tianji Tower. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. It had been some time since Yang Lei's inspection. Before Yu Yang Yu's Venerable Assembly, Enforcer Dong had already sent the token to him. After returning to the City Lord's mansion, Night Sorrow told Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu about it. Dark monsters and dark cultivators. How could something like this happen? Sikong Chuyu's expression changed. Don't worry. I'm not going alone, Night Sorrow said. It's very dangerous. The disaster that happened 3,000 years ago was recorded in many history books. It was too tragic, Sikong Chuyu said. It's okay. Maybe it's not that serious. I'll go and take a look. Night Sorrow said. Then, Night Sorrow said goodbye to the 2 girls and went to Tianji Tower to find Yin Shui. Yin Shui took Night Sorrow to Eastern Xian City through the teleportation array. How about this? You go to the mansion and rest for a while. I'll go pick up the others. We'll meet at your mansion tonight, Yin Shui said to Night Sorrow. Then, Night Sorrow rode Tianyu back to Qingxin Cottage to wait. Chapter 386. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We will provide you with wonderful novels to read. As night fell, Dongxian City was exceptionally beautiful when the lanterns were lit. It was as if Sleeping Beauty had pulled back her veil. After drinking a cup of tea, Night Sorrow left the house and strolled along the street. Night Sorrow had just strolled to the end of the street when he saw Lei Hua, Ho Yuan, and Yin Shui bringing Ho Jian, Nan Liyue, Lei Bao, and Lei Jing over. G edition premiere /V Night Sorrow brought them into the house. He didn't call for anyone and personally brewed tea for them. Since the 5 of you know each other, I'll gather all of you together and talk about what to do next. This time, Tianji Tower will send out 2 teams to seek your opinions. If you think it's suitable, you'll be in a team of 5. If you don't think it's suitable, you'll be separated from the other patrollers and regrouped. However, you must know that the people going this time are all below the 5th rank. Even the old patrollers have the same cultivation as you, said Lei Hua. Sir, we have no objections. We'll be in the same team as Night Sorrow, said Lei Bao. Sir, I have no objections either. We're familiar with each other, so we can take care of each other, said Ho Jian. I have no objections either. Nan Liyue nodded. That's good. The team leader will be Night Sorrow. Do you have any objections? Asked Lei Hua. Ho Jian and the others had no objections. They all approved of Night Sorrow. Then it settled. Night Sorrow is the youngest among you, but in a year and a half, he relied on crazily completing missions to upgrade his Tianji Tower token to gold rank. I've seen his missions and he has a good grasp of the situation. Sometimes, he's a little too aggressive. Ho Jian, Nan Liyue, you guys remind him, said Lei Hua. Ho Jian and the others stood up to accept the order. Elder Ho, tell them the details of the situation. Then let them rest and wait for further orders. Night Sorrow, come with me. Lei Hua stood up and said. Night Sorrow nodded at Lei Bao and the others. You don't have to be so courteous here. If you need anything, just go to the front yard and shout. Under the guidance of Lei Hua, Night Sorrow once again arrived at the mountain where Wu Lingfei was cultivating. My lord, Night Sorrow has arrived. Lei Hua bowed. All right, then you go back first. Wu Lingfei nodded. Then this subordinate will return first. Lei Hua bowed to Wu Lingfei again, then turned and left. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs. Calm, Night Sorrow, your cultivation base is improving very quickly. The strength of your body and the energy it contains are both acceptable. However, you can't be in a hurry to enter the void inquiry stage. You can only advance to the next realm when your true qi is as solid as it can be. Wu Lingfei said. This junior understands. Night Sorrow nodded. Remember, the domain C is a very dangerous place. If you encounter any danger that you can't deal with, activate the soul bead that I gave you. Also, take this with you. If there's an emergency, activate it with the profound jade spiritual qi. Even though it can't bring out its full potential, it can still protect you. Wu Lingfei threw a silver bracelet to him. What's this? Night Sorrow asked. This is my protective spiritual weapon, the Heaven and Earth bracelet. It contains the true qi that I left behind. If you activate it with the profound jade spiritual qi, it will have some effect. Wu Lingfei said. That's not appropriate. Senior is one of the top experts in the Eastern Profound region. You have to maintain your peak condition at all times. Therefore, this junior can't take this spiritual weapon. Night Sorrow took the Heaven and Earth bracelet and handed it back to Wu Lingfei. Take it. I don't have a spiritual weapon and I'm not afraid of anyone. After I cultivate the profound jade body, my body is a spiritual treasure. You have to work hard in this direction. Alright, let's go back. Wu Lingfei said. After Wu Lingfei said this, Night Sorrow didn't refuse. He bowed to Wu Lingfei and left on Tianyu. After returning to the Pure Heart Villa, Night Sorrow saw a scene that made him speechless. Ho Jian and the others each had a roasted chicken in front of them and a jar of wine in front of them. They were playing the finger-guessing game. "You guys are really awesome." Night Sorrow sat down and said, "Life must be lived to the fullest. If you want to drink, drink. Why don't you drink? Sit down and join us." Nan Liue waved at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow had no choice but to sit down and play with them. After drinking, Night Sorrow arranged accommodations for them. Then, he chatted with Ning Qingfeng, who was cultivating in the front yard, before going to rest. After 2 days, Lei Hui came and ordered the 5 to put on their masks and set off. When they took out their masks, the quality of their masks could be distinguished. Lei Zhang's mask was black with copper patterns. Ho Jian, Nan Liue, and Lei Bao's masks were bronze. Night Sorrow's mask was silver with flame patterns. Lei Hui led them out of Dongxian City and left through a teleportation array. After taking a teleportation array, they arrived at a special city. This is Linhai City, the face of Dongxian region. It's a defensive city under the jurisdiction of Dongxian City. 100 miles outside the city is the Realm Sea. Lei Hui introduced the city to them. "Are we going to investigate from here?" Nan Liue asked. "Yes. The dark creatures that have appeared so far have all drifted over from the Realm Sea. We don't know where they originated from, so you guys have to investigate. The other city is Jianghai City." "Someone else will go," Lei Hui said. Lei Hui led them to the branch of Tianji Tower in Linhai City. In the warehouse of Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow and the others saw several silver-white ships. "These are ships for going out to sea. Night Sorrow, take 2 with you. 1 for use and 1 for backup." Lei Hui took 2 bracelets from the warehouse staff and put away the 2 ships with a casual wave of his hand. Then, he handed the bracelets to Night Sorrow. Lei Hui then waved his hand and wrapped everyone in energy, bringing them to the edge of the Realm Sea. The Realm Sea was a part of the Boundless Sea, the sea that connected the 9 regions. The waves on the sea were all black and the sky above the sea was filled with black energy clouds. The Realm Sea has an effect on venerables and void inquiry stage experts. When the waves of the sea and the energy in the sky converge, the strong waves will invade your divine sea. Therefore, you guys can't advance to the 5th level in the Realm Sea. Lei Hui emphasized to them. Under Lei Hui's guidance, Night Sorrow released the white ship and placed it in the Realm Sea. Then, Night Sorrow landed on the ship in the sea with a flash. Just as he landed on the ship, Night Sorrow felt that something was wrong. There were inexplicable attacks from the sky and sea entering his divine sea. Immediately, he felt a splitting headache. Night Sorrow hugged his head with both hands and unleashed all the energy in his body to resist the invasion of the attacks. The eruption of energy made Night Sorrow's hair stand on end. However, he still could not resist the inexplicable attacks from the sky and sea. Right at this moment, the heavenly fate bead of void in Night Sorrow's dantian moved. It spun rapidly and appeared in Night Sorrow's divine sea as if it had teleported. Then, it released energy to protect Night Sorrow's head. Only then did Night Sorrow calm down. Chapter 387. Genius 1 second. Remember, love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow, what's wrong with you? Lei Hui asked nervously. He knew that the problem was serious. If something happened to Night Sorrow, he wouldn't be able to explain it to Wu Lingfei. Love go little say Chu, there was an energy attack on my divine sea, but it's not a big problem, Night Sorrow said. What? You opened up your divine sea. Lei Hua looked at Night Sorrow nervously. Yes, I did. There was an unknown energy that invaded my divine sea, but it's not a big problem, Night Sorrow said. Don't resist. I'll check it out. Lei Hua said. Night Sorrow nodded and closed his eyes. He didn't think Lei Hua would hurt him. Ah! Damn it! What the hell is this? Lei Hua cursed and took a few steps back. He rubbed his head, his face pale. Senior, what's wrong? Night Sorrow asked quickly. Your divine sense sea has indeed formed. My soul force entered your head, and the moment it touched your divine sense sea, it was attacked. Lei Hua's eyes were filled with shock. He was very clear about his own strength, but he had suffered a loss just now. Night Sorrow shook his head. The Void Fate Pearl was his biggest secret. He couldn't tell anyone. You opened up your divine sea. This is something only stage 5 cultivators can do. Now that you've done it, it's not suitable for you to enter the realm sea, Lei Hua said after looking at Night Sorrow. Let me try again. I didn't feel a big problem just now, Night Sorrow said and landed on the ship. The attack from the sky and the sea attacked again, but it couldn't invade Night Sorrow's divine sea. It was completely blocked by the energy emitted by the Void Fate Pearl. You're fine. Lei Hua looked at Night Sorrow suspiciously. The realm sea's attack on the divine sense and divine sea was a law attack. There was no way to deal with it, but Night Sorrow ignored it completely as if nothing had happened. It's fine. What are you guys waiting for? Come on, let's go, Night Sorrow said while holding the ship bracelet. Ho Jian and the others bowed to Lei Hua and jumped into the ship. Night Sorrow controlled the bracelet and activated the crystal shield above the ship. Then, he went to the back of the ship and inserted 3 spirit stones into the card slot. With the inlay of the crystal, the silver warship flew out. Lei Hua, who was about to wave at Night Sorrow and say something, was stunned. To be able to open up the divine sea at the 4th stage, Lei Hua couldn't understand what was going on. In the history of cultivation, it was common knowledge for 5th grade void inquiry stage experts to open their spirit sea. No one could break this common knowledge. What about now? Not only had Night Sorrow opened up the divine sense sea, he was also not afraid of attacks. What kind of situation was this? He really could not understand. After watching Night Sorrow and the others enter the sea on the ship, Lei Hua left in a flash. He had to report what happened today to Wu Lingfei. He knew very well that Wu Lingfei attached great importance to Night Sorrow. Come, I'll make some tea. You guys keep an eye on the outside. Ho Jian took out a tea set and said. Above the ship was an elliptical crystal that extended outwards. In the middle was a long table with cushions on both sides. The ship wasn't small, so it could fit 7 or 8 people. Yishan's group of 5 was more comfortable. Ho Jian made the tea. Night Sorrow and the others took off their masks and looked at the situation outside the ship. We have to pay attention to our sense of direction. Don't get lost in the realm sea. That will be big trouble, Nan Liu said. Look here. There's a formation compass. This red arrow is pointing in the direction of Linhai City. Love go little say, Chu Night Sorrow pointed at the compass at the front of the ship. The depth of the spirit stone in the slot controls the direction. If the spirit stone on the left is pulled out a little, it will turn left. If the spirit stone on the right is pulled out a little, it will go right. Lei Zheng had been studying the back of the ship. The ship was powered by spirit stones. The back of the ship was a formation diagram. As long as spirit stones were inserted, the energy produced would push the ship forward. The speed of the ship was extremely fast. We'll split into 2 groups. Lei Bao and I will be in one group. Ho Jian, you and Lei Jing will be in the other group. Pay close attention to the situation on the sea. If you see any dark demonic beasts, immediately call everyone. That's the only way we can find the source, Night Sorrow said. What about me? Nan Liu asked. If you have time, make a pot of tea. Then go check on the spirit stones. According to the consumption rate, 3 mid-grade spirit stones can last for 6 hours, Night Sorrow said to Nan Liu. Night Sorrow, I suggest that after leaving the coastline for some distance, we should search horizontally. If we continue to go in the wrong direction, it will be very difficult for us to find anything, Nan Liu said. And I think so too. Let's patrol this area first. Only then can we find something. Night Sorrow nodded. Nan Liu had the same idea as him. Night Sorrow, your mask's grade is high. It seems like you're doing better than us in Tianji Tower, Nan Liu said. Let's not talk about this between us. It's useless to make fun of me. Night Sorrow said with a smile. After the ship was 300 li *, 500 Emperor li, away from the coastline, Nan Liu changed the direction of the ship and began to move horizontally. Night Sorrow, there are some things that I shouldn't ask. But if I don't ask, I won't be happy. Ho Jian said after drinking a cup of tea. Ask. If I can, I will definitely answer you. Night Sorrow said. It's common knowledge that only after entering the 5th level of the void inquiry stage can one open the spirit sea. But why have you opened the spirit sea now? Ho Jian asked. The other 4 also looked at Night Sorrow seriously. This was something they didn't understand. I've always paid attention to the cultivation of the body's strength. The body is the foundation, right? After a lot of hard work, I managed to reach the essence chi smoke stage. Now that my true energy has reached the 5th stage, I can use my chi to break through the canopy and open the spirit sea. When I reached the essence chi smoke stage, I was able to reach the peak of my chi and blood, so I was able to open the spirit sea. Night Sorrow gave a brief explanation. So that's how it is, Ho Jian said. It'll be much easier for you to reach the 5th level. At the very least, you won't have to break through the canopy and open your divine sea. As long as you can condense your true energy to perfection, you'll naturally advance. We can't do that. V more, F Axian S most _ fast up Z, take it slow. We're all the most outstanding disciples of our respective sections. What's there to be afraid of not being able to enter Tier 5? Wouldn't that be a joke? Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's true. Only Ho Jian isn't confident. I believe in myself very much. The day of entering Tier 5 won't be far away. Nan Liu said. Shut up. Look, what's that? Isn't that the dark wolf race? Lei Jing pointed at the direction not far away from the ship and said. On the pitch-black surface of the domain sea, not far away from the ship, there was a demonic wolf that was completely black in color. It was swimming on the surface of the sea. That's right. It's the dark wolf race. Let's ignore it and go in the direction it came from. Night Sorrow said to Nan Liu, who was controlling the direction. Chapter 388. Genius remembers love in 1 second / small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Nan Liu nodded and instantly changed the direction of the ship, heading towards the direction where the demon wolf had appeared. As they moved forward, they saw more dark demonic beasts and even dark rotting corpses. Damn, that thing is a Tier 4 one, Lei Zhang said as he pointed at the dark corpse on the surface of the sea. You're heading in the right direction. Also, the danger this time is quite high. If you encounter a Tier 5 opponent, remember to stay close to me. I can still hold them off for a while, Night Sorrow said. We understand. Ho Jian nodded. Did you two hear that? Seeing that Lei Bao and Lei Jing didn't say anything, Night Sorrow shouted. He couldn't help but hope that something would happen to Lei Bao and Lei Jing. Understood. Lei Bao and Lei Jing nodded. Lei Jing, you take this ship. You are slightly weaker, so when you need to run, you can release the ship. Night Sorrow handed the other bracelet to Lei Jing. None of them objected to Night Sorrow's arrangement. Initial O'Hare the ship continued to move forward, and they saw more and more dark creatures. Night Sorrow knew they were heading in the right direction. Ho Jian, you said that the realm's sea is harmful to venerables, so venerables can't cross realms. That's not realistic. Night Sorrow said. Love go little Seiku, that's not the case. The realm's sea is harmful to venerables because it's close to the surface of the sea. If you fly at a high altitude and stay away from the sea, you'll only have to endure the energy storms in the sky. This time, venerables can't come to investigate because they fly too high. They can't see anything and can't see the situation above the sea. Ho Jian said. Now that I understand the problem, there is still something I don't understand, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Go ahead and ask. As long as we know, it's not a problem, Ho Jian said. Then how do those below the honorable realm pass through the domain sea? I know they can, but the question is, how? Night Sorrow asked. He knew that they would definitely pass because Jiyu family and Sikong family had been to the eastern Xian region before. We are on a ship on the sea. There are also ships in the sky. However, the cost of using a ship in the sky is very high. It requires high-grade spirit stones, and a large amount of high-grade spirit stones to maintain the flight of the ship in the sky. In addition, there are teleportation arrays, Ho Jian said. Night Sorrow, we admire your battle prowess and courage, but your understanding of common sense is almost idiotic. Nan Liuel looked at Night Sorrow as if she was looking at a monster. Perhaps it's because I have no distractions, because my heart is as white as a sheet of paper, that I can cultivate so quickly. Ho Jian sighed. As they chatted, they also carefully observed the situation on the sea. As the ship moved forward, they could see more and more dark creatures. There weren't many dark creatures in Waterfront City because they spread out in all directions. There are so many dark creatures. How can there be so many of them? Lei Bao said in surprise. It's really hard to say. There are many floating islands in the domain sea. It's hard to predict what's going on there. Besides, there are spatial cracks and different spaces. All kinds of situations are possible, Ho Jian said. Let's continue forward. Anyway, there won't be any dark creatures above the 5th rank here, Night Sorrow said. Yes. The energy whirlpools in the sky and the domain sea are very harmful to human cultivators at the Void Inquiry realm and the Vast Heaven realm. It's the same for dark creatures. The highest grade of dark demonic beasts and dark zombies also won't exceed this limit. Ho Jian nodded and said. Then it's settled. Without any 5th rank dark creatures, what are we afraid of? Let's continue forward, Lei Bao said. Nan Liuel looked at the ship situation. If they didn't have enough spirit stones, they would continue to add more. The ship moved forward against the wind. More and more dark demonic beasts could be seen on the sea. Night Sorrow and the others didn't care about this and continued to move forward because they couldn't kill them. I don't know where they came from. There are so many of them. It seems like the problem is really serious, Ho Jian said. We're going to investigate the cause and report back. Only then can the Dongxian City Lord Manor, Tianji Tower, and the other major forces send people to eliminate the dark demonic beasts at the source. Nan Liu emphasized the goal of this mission. As time passed, they got further and further away from the coastline of the domain sea. After 3 to 4,000 li *, 500 Emperor Li, they saw a large number of dark creatures. All of them were at the 4th rank. There's an island in front. Ho Jian pointed at a big island in front of them and said, Liyue, control the ship to circle around this island and see what's going on, Night Sorrow said to Nan Liyue. All right. Nan Liyue controlled the ship from the back and changed its direction, moving forward around the island. After 6 hours, the ship only circled around the island once. This isn't a floating island. It's a large island with a foundation that connects to the bottom of the domain sea. Ho Jian stated his judgment. There are dark creatures in the northern half of the island, but not in the southern half. They all float with the current. In other words, this is the source of the dark creatures, Night Sorrow said. This is the place. Night Sorrow, what should we do next? Ho Jian asked. We'll land on the island from the south and slowly investigate. If we can fight, we'll fight. If we can't, we'll run. Night Sorrow stated his decision. That's a good strategy. There are so many disgusting things. It won't be easy to kill them, Nan Liyue said. Half an hour later, they drove the ship to the southern shore of the island. Then, they jumped off the island and Night Sorrow stored the ship in his bracelet. They started to land on the island with weapons in hand. Their mission here was half complete. They would only be considered complete when they found out the reason for the dark creature's emergence. As soon as they landed on the island, the dark creatures attacked. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and casually executed the 7-star brilliant moon spear, piercing through the heads of the dark demonic wolves. As the battle continued, more and more dark demonic beasts surrounded them. Ho Jian and Night Sorrow stood in a line and advanced forward. Thunderstorm left wing, Liyue right wing. Lei Zheng, you take the rear and collect the dark crystals while you're at it, Night Sorrow said as they advanced. As they advanced, more and more dark creatures appeared. There were also human corpses. Although they weren't alive, they had early stage rank 4 energy flowing in them. Such an opponent had been finished off with a single strike from Yishang's reincarnation spear. There's a small hill over there. Behind it is a cliff. Let's charge over and defend one side. Lei Jing shouted as he collected the dark crystals from the back. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and advanced forward. As long as there were dark demonic beasts surrounding them, their heads would be pierced by his reincarnation spear. Ho Jian was the finishing blow, attacking places that Night Sorrow couldn't attack. The area Lei Jing pointed at was 6 to 7 miles away. However, it wasn't easy to cross this distance as there were too many dark demonic beasts. Don't worry. The dark demonic beasts surrounding us are the remnants of this area. There aren't any new reinforcements. We just have to kill this area. Lei Jing didn't feel any pressure and kept observing the situation. Chapter 389. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. What's there to be afraid of? I believe in you and Night Sorrow, Lei Jing said. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear rapidly. Sometimes, he would even kill 2 dark beasts with 1 strike. When fighting against these dark beasts whose cultivation was lower than his, Night Sorrow used his most powerful spiral force. Every strike of his spear was fatal. Even so, they couldn't increase their speed because there were too many dark beasts blocking their way. This is the southern part of the island. There are relatively fewer dark beasts. There are still so many of them. It's going to kill us, Nan Liyue said. Let's push forward first. Let's find a foothold first, Night Sorrow said while killing the dark beasts that surrounded them. After an hour, they finally reached the top of the hill. Night Sorrow let them rest while he defended the outside. I'm so tired. Why are there so many dark beasts? Lei Bao said while drinking. Yes, we can't kill them all. I don't understand why there are so many of them. Ho Jian was also tired. After killing all the dark beasts that caught up, Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine. There are so many dark beasts. It's impossible for this island to produce them. There must be a cave, a spatial crack, or a passage to another dimension. Night Sorrow said while drinking. That should be the case. Ho Jian nodded. Night Sorrow, aren't you tired? Nan Liuel looked at Night Sorrow and asked. She had used up more than half of her true qi and her forehead was covered in sweat. Ho Jian and Lei Bao were the same. Lei Zheng, who was at the back, was in a better state. However, Night Sorrow seemed to be fine. One had to know that Night Sorrow had killed more dark beasts than all of them combined. I'm okay. After you guys rest, we'll continue to move forward and find the source, Night Sorrow said. They nodded and began to meditate to recover. Night Sorrow stretched his waist and continued to be vigilant. At the same time, he was thinking about how to deal with the upcoming crisis. After an hour, they had recovered to their peak state. In a while, we'll sneak forward and move towards the area with the highest density of dark beasts. If there's a problem, you guys escape with your flying beasts and wait for me on the sea, Night Sorrow said. What about you? Lei Bao asked. $, you idiot, the captain wants him to bring up the rear. Nan Liuel looked at Lei Bao and said. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs. Isn't that dangerous? Yishang, I'll go with you. I can't abandon you and run away. Lei Bao looked at Yishang and shook his head. I didn't think too much just now. I always thought that Captain was strong, but I didn't think about the danger. I'm sorry. Nan Liuel said to Yishan, a little embarrassed. Night Sorrow smiled and said, It's nothing. You guys wait for me on the sea. It shouldn't be difficult for me to run back. Then, they didn't say anything. Under Night Sorrow's lead, they avoided the dark beasts and sneaked towards the center of the island. Love Go Little Say Chu Night Sorrow had the power of the soul, so his perception and detection were stronger. He was at the front and constantly used hand signals to instruct them to move forward or turn. They had to be careful when moving forward, so their speed was very slow. However, they weren't in a hurry. After all, safety was the most important thing. There were too many dark beasts on the island, and they were moving back and forth. After half a day, they had only advanced 100 miles and avoided many dark beasts. This won't do. There are too many dark beasts. If we continue like this, we'll definitely be discovered and surrounded. There are even flying dark beasts. Isn't this nonsense? Nan Liuel said as she gathered behind Night Sorrow. Yes, flying beasts are disgusting, but it's not a big problem. These dark vultures are around rank 3. What are the grades of your mounts? Night Sorrow asked as he turned to look at them. Peak rank 3. Ho Jian said. Peak rank 3. But they haven't reached adulthood yet. They can still advance. Lei Bao and Lei Jing nodded. Mine is the same. Nan Liuel also replied. They're all rank 3. Can't you get a higher grade mount? Night Sorrow muttered with dissatisfaction. You're just standing there and talking. Peak rank 3 flying mounts aren't good. Nan Liuel glared at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, It's not easy to define whether it's good or not. In this situation, rank 3 flying mounts aren't enough. If we're surrounded, I'll let Tianyu help you block the pursuers. You guys ride the flying beasts to the sea and quickly enter the ship. Tianyu was at the peak of rank 4, rank 5. There weren't many flying beasts that could stop him in the air. Okay. Your Tianyu is savage. Lei Bao said. He knew Tianyu's grade. Then, they continued to move forward. If they encountered something that couldn't dodge in time, Night Sorrow would take out the sky-piercing spear and shoot it. This way, the dark beasts wouldn't riot and they wouldn't be surrounded. In order to reduce the commotion, Night Sorrow used spiral force to shoot the sky-piercing spear. This was much quieter than vibration force. Moreover, every time he shot the sky-piercing spear, Night Sorrow would directly hit the dark beasts' heads, not giving them a chance to struggle. We're about 200 to 300 li away from the center of the island. The mountain in front should be the center of the island. Nan Liyue, who was following Night Sorrow, said. The mountain is very steep. It's not easy for us to climb it. The same goes for the dark creatures. The key point is that we can't avoid being discovered by the flying dark creatures. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. How about this? If we climb it at night, the dark creatures in the sky won't be able to discover us. Lei Jing said. You're such a pig. Nan Liyue said. It's definitely not possible at night. This island is filled with dark energy. Without sunlight at night, the light energy will decrease and the dark creatures will be more active. They don't necessarily need to rely on their eyes to discover us. They can also sense us through their aura. Night Sorrow said. Ho Jian and Lei Bao nodded. Lei Jing rubbed his head embarrassedly. He knew that his point of view was wrong. Now, we only have two choices. One is to hurry up and get the results before the sky turns dark and leave. The other is to find a safe place to stay for the night. Night Sorrow said his idea and asked for the others' opinions. Night Sorrow's idea received everyone's agreement. Then, the few of them continued to move forward towards the mountain. Nan Liyue and Ho Jian's idea was that regardless of whether they could find the results today, they had to go to the mountain. If they didn't find anything, they would find a high ground on the mountain. It would be much safer to set up camp like this. Night Sorrow continued to fire his sky-piercing spears. The dark creatures blocking his path didn't notice, nor did they cause a riot. They were all killed by Night Sorrow. Chapter 390. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. This is really exciting. Night Sorrow squinted his eyes as he leaned against an ancient tree. Exciting. I'm so nervous. Nan Liyue said softly. Me too. I'm worried about being pushed down by the dark zombies. That drooling guy is really disgusting. Lei Jing said. If that happens, we should kill ourselves quickly. Otherwise, I don't dare to imagine that scene. Nan Liyue exhaled and said. Don't think too much. Let's continue. I'm afraid there won't be any results today. We need to find a safe place to stay and survive tonight. Night Sorrow looked at the sky and said. As Night Sorrow waved his arm, the few of them continued to move forward. After moving forward for a while, Yunjing, who was in charge of observing the environment, found a suitable place to stay. It was a huge rock with 3 sides that seemed to be cut by a knife and one side was a slope. When Night Sorrow and the others climbed up this huge rock, they were discovered by the dark creatures. As the battle continued, more and more dark creatures rushed towards this huge rock. Dark demonic wolves, dark lions, dark zombies, all kinds of dark creatures were present. There were even armored dark zombies. Then it's not a dark creature. That guy is of the death attribute. Nan Liyue, who killed a dark demonic wolf with a sword, said. Love go little say W. Chu. Everyone's mood was very heavy. Darkness and death sounded very similar, but the difference was huge. The dark attribute was one of the 7 ordinary attributes. Although it was rare, it was on the same level as the other attributes. However, the death attribute was different. It was one of the 4 advanced attributes and could suppress the 7 ordinary attributes. Things seem to be a little troublesome. Ho Jian said. Hurry up and fight. Let's settle down first. Lei Bao shouted as he fought. At this moment, there were too many dark creatures rushing towards the rock. Lei Bao, destroy this slope. If they want to attack, we have to make them jump up with effort. Don't let them attack too smoothly. Night Sorrow shouted at Lei Bao. The rock they were standing on was very large and tall. It was steep on 3 sides and sloping on 1 side. The dark creatures were charging up the slope. After instructing Lei Bao, Yishang charged forward, leaving space for Lei Bao and the others to cut off the path. After Night Sorrow rushed out, Ho Jian, Lei Bao and Lei Jing bombarded the rocky slope. Liyue, go help Night Sorrow. The 3 of us will cut off the path. Ho Jian shouted at Nan Liyue, who was also going to help cut off the path. Following which, Night Sorrow and Nan Liyue rushed down the slope and fought against the darkness creatures. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was brandished and was able to attack a range of 30 to 40 feet. With Nan Liyue filling in the gaps, Lei Bao and the other 2 were able to make some space. Ho Jian, Lei Bao and Lei Jing brandished their weapons and bombarded the rocky ground, creating a large trench. Ho Jian and the others bombarded the trench as they retreated. The trench became deeper and wider. 30 feet wide is enough. You 2, come back. Ho Jian shouted at Night Sorrow and Nan Liyue. The rocky slope was broken, creating a 30 feet wide trench. Ho Jian and the other 2 were so tired that their faces were covered in sweat. Liyue, go back. Night Sorrow shouted at Nan Liyue. Following which, he poured the energy from the myriad Tao treasured tome into his arms and used the vibration force to strike the rocky ground. You should go back too. Nan Liyue's body flashed and she flew back to Ho Jian and the others. After that, Night Sorrow didn't attack the dark creatures. After forcing the dark creatures back with his reincarnation spear, he smashed down the rocky slope. Following Night Sorrow's ferocious smashing, coupled with the vibrations from the concussive force, the height of the already broken slope became lower and lower. Savage. Ho Jian shook his head. Indeed, this is too savage. Nan Liyue was also deeply moved. After enduring more than 10 strikes from Night Sorrow's spear and the vibration force, the slope under his feet became lower by 1.5 feet. Following which, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear swung back and his body soared into the air, flying towards Ho Jian and the others. With the cultivation of the 4th rank, he could fly for a short period of time. Therefore, it wasn't a problem for him to cross the distance of a few feet. Night Sorrow easily arrived beside Ho Jian and the others. Let them come. If they come up, we'll just fight them down. Night Sorrow said as he shot a spear light at a dark zombie that was climbing up the slope. Waiting for them to come up is not a bad idea. Even if they can come up, it won't be easy. Lei Bao said. Following which, the 5 of them took turns on duty. One person was responsible for the safety of the rock platform while the others rested. However, Ho Jian and the others didn't let Night Sorrow do the duty. Night Sorrow just fought an intense battle and needed to rest. In addition, they also knew that Night Sorrow needed to maintain his peak condition. Night Sorrow didn't argue and immediately sat down to recover. He didn't consume much energy today, but he felt a little tired after being tense for so long. Damn, flying demonic beasts. After resting for 2 hours, Lei Bao, who was in charge of the duty, shouted. It was the 3rd rank dark vultures that were attacking. There were hundreds of them. Tianyu, go and kill them for me. However, don't go too far. Night Sorrow waved his arm and released Tianyu. After Tianyu let out a cry, he charged towards the dark vultures in the sky. With a flap of his wings, no vultures could get close to him. On the other hand, his pair of green gold claws and beak were killing weapons. The dark vultures that were attacked by him would all face death. Tianyu had the ability to fight above his level, not to mention these dark vultures that had yet to reach Tier 4. The dark vultures were unable to break through his defense. On Night Sorrow's side, the reincarnation spear executed the 7 stars brilliant moon spear art and annihilated the dark vultures that were attacking the platform. The dark vulture's combat power wasn't that great, but it wasn't afraid of death. It attacked Tianyu and Rock. These disgusting bastards are really going all out. Lei Bao cursed as he fought. Nan Liu said, "The blood and flesh energy in our bodies are nourishment to them. They are very attractive to them." The battle lasted for an hour before it ended. All of the dark vultures had been killed. $Yang Long free of charge, Z look at percent small, say Z/Tianyu spun and landed beside Night Sorrow. I wonder if it'll be quiet at night. After feeding Tianyu a beast pill, Night Sorrow muttered softly. At this moment, the sky had already turned completely dark. Night Sorrow, hurry up and rest. You're the main force. If your condition isn't good, we won't be able to hold on. Ho Jian said. F***ck, look at what this is. At this moment, Lei Jing screamed. The few of them went to Lei Zhang's side. Without Lei Zhang's guidance, the few of them saw what was going on. Under the platform, there were densely packed black spiders. Run! Lei Bao's expression changed. The densely packed black spiders were too terrifying. F***ck, watch me. Nan Liu cursed. She slapped out with her palms and red flames rushed towards the bottom of the platform. Nan Liu moved as she attacked, covering the bottom of the platform with flames. What kind of martial art is this? Lei Bao asked. With my southern fire body as the foundation, the leaf fire palm is executed. It doesn't have much effect in battle, but it can still burn these disgusting bugs to death. Nan Liu said. Chapter 391. A genius remembers love in 1 second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow, be careful. It's a Type 5 Dark Spider King. Ho Jian shouted from behind. He discovered that the cultivation base of this dark spider had already reached the void inquiry stage. In fact, even without Ho Jian's reminder, Night Sorrow already knew that this dark spider was terrifying. After all, it was on a completely different level from the small spiders below. Night Sorrow's true chi exploded, and the reincarnation spear executed the 7 stars brilliant moon spear technique. The 4 spears combined into one and pierced out. Following that, the myriad Tao Tome's energy followed closely behind with the vibration force. Creak. Night Sorrow's 4 spear auras combined into one was blocked by the spider's 4 sharp claws, which issued an ear-piercing sound of friction. However, the spider's claws were also deeply cut. At this moment, the energy of the myriad Tao Tome in Night Sorrow's body entered the tip of the spear. Following which, an intense vibration shook off the claws of the Dark Spider King. After shaking off the Dark Spider King's sharp claws, Night Sorrow quickly thrust his reincarnation spear forward. Immediately after, the true chi that entered the reincarnation spear once again displayed the spiraling energy. Chi! Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear, which had an extremely strong penetrating power, directly pierced into the Dark Spider King's chest. Night Sorrow's body moved forward and his right hand continued to push forward, allowing the reincarnation spear to stay in the body of the Dark Spider King that was retreating. Following that, the energy of the myriad Tao Tome burst forth into the tip of the spear, causing an intense vibration force to erupt. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao say www. A-I-Q-X-S. Compa. Paw. Paw. A series of explosions rang out from the Dark Spider King's body. The Dark Spider King's internal organs and tendons were all shattered. Soon after, it swayed a few times on Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear before it stopped moving. This plaything looks ferocious, but its strength isn't all that great. Lei Jing spoke up. Nothing much. If I let you try, you probably won't even be able to break through my defenses. Nan Liuel looked at Lei Jing with disdain. Night Sorrow, you switched between the two types of energy and the two types of energy too quickly. This guy couldn't withstand it. Otherwise, this Dark Spider King would have been very difficult to kill. Love go little Sei Ku Ho Jian said. Look, the little spiders have all retreated. They must have sensed that the Spider King is dead, Nan Liuel said. I hope it will be quiet for the rest of the night, Yishan said. What followed was true silence. No more dark creatures appeared. After a night's rest, Night Sorrow stood up when the sun rose. When Night Sorrow stretched his waist, the others also stopped meditating. Are you all ready? Once you're ready, we'll set off. It's inevitable that there will be a fierce battle today. I wonder what will happen after we cross this mountain, Night Sorrow said. After listening to Night Sorrow's words, Ho Jian and the others nodded. When Lei Huo appointed Night Sorrow as the captain, they agreed because of their friendship. Now, they were truly convinced. After a day of cooperation, Ho Jian and the others knew that Night Sorrow was not only strong in combat, but also extremely calm. There was no problem in commanding the entire situation. Remember my words. If you can fight, fight. If you can't, run. After saying that, Night Sorrow leaped into the air and gently landed on the ground. Then, he moved towards the mountain. Ho Jian and the others followed closely behind Night Sorrow. When a dark beast appeared to block the way, Night Sorrow directly shot the sky-piercing spear. After advancing for a while, Night Sorrow and the others arrived at the foot of the mountain. As long as they started climbing the mountain, they would only be attacked by flying demonic beasts. However, they met a tiger blocking their path. It was a dark cultivator. What was different from ordinary people was that it had 2 horns and black scales on its face. A half-transformed dark flood dragon. Nan Liuel said to Night Sorrow. Yishang stared at the half-transformed dark Jiao. The cultivation base of this half-transformed dark Jiao was higher than theirs. It already had half a foot in the void inquiry stage. While Night Sorrow was observing, the dark flood dragon charged towards Night Sorrow. In each of its hands, there was a pair of short thorns. The short thorns emitted a faint light that made people's hearts tremble. You guys go up the mountain and wait for me at the cliff. Night Sorrow brandished his reincarnation spear and rushed towards the dark flood dragon. Night Sorrow, be careful. Its weapons are the fangs that it has before its transformation. They are highly poisonous. Nan Liuel took a few steps back and said. At this moment, Night Sorrow was already fighting against the half-transformed dark flood dragon using his 7-star brilliant moon spear technique. The dark flood dragon was very strong. However, strength was Night Sorrow's forte. It did not have any advantage at all. On the other hand, Night Sorrow's combat skills were not something that the dark flood dragon could compare to. It was suppressed by Night Sorrow and was forced to retreat. In less than half the time it took to brew a cup of tea, the dark flood dragon's head was pierced through by Night Sorrow's spear. Night Sorrow stepped forward and kept the 2 short thorns of the dark flood dragon. Then, he casually cut off its 2 horns and crystal core and kept them in his storage ring. These were all good materials for refining treasures. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, why aren't you guys leaving? Night Sorrow looked at them and asked. I don't have the habit of leaving my brothers behind. Lei Bao said. Night Sorrow, we are a team. Although we are not strong enough, I, Ho Jian, will not run away first. Ho Jian said. Nan Liue also smiled. Although I am a woman, I have a code of brotherhood. I know you guys are loyal, but you still have to pay attention to your safety. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then, they began to climb the mountain. The mountain wall was really steep. They all used their auxiliary weapons to climb the mountain wall. Night Sorrow let out Tianyu and stood guard behind them. He was afraid that a flying demonic beast would appear, and he was also afraid that someone would accidentally fall. Fortunately, it was still safe. They climbed for more than 2 hours and did not encounter any demonic beasts. Even if there were poisonous insects, they could deal with them with their alchemic fire. Soon, they were not far from the mountain peak. At this time, Night Sorrow and the rest were very cautious. No one knew what was going on at the top of the mountain and the opposite side of the mountain. When they were about 20 feet away from the mountain peak, Night Sorrow stopped climbing and waited for the others to come up behind him. You guys wait here. I will go up and take a look first. When I call for you guys go up. If I tell you to run, just ride your flying demonic beast and run. Don't say anything else. Night Sorrow said to them. They did not say anything and only nodded. They knew that if they refuted at this time, Night Sorrow would not be happy. Then, Night Sorrow continued to climb. 20 feet was nothing in Night Sorrow's eyes. The main thing was that he had climbed Danding Cliff too many times and was already used to it. Standing on the mountain peak, Night Sorrow saw the situation on the opposite side. This sight made Night Sorrow's scalp tingle. In his line of sight, there were densely packed dark creatures. There were all kinds of demonic beasts, humanoid dark zombies, and dark zombies. In a place a little further away, Night Sorrow saw rolling black clouds rising from the ground. It was a dense dark energy. The rolling black clouds dyed the sky an oppressive black color. Night Sorrow came to the mountain wall and waved at them. After a while, they all came to the top of the cliff. Chapter 392. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. That's the source of this incident. Because of the mountain, we can't see it from other places. We only know that the dark energy in the air is very dense. Night Sorrow said. But we can't go over. If we want to kill our way over, we won't be able to do it even if we tire ourselves to death. Ho Jian shook his head. But if we don't go over, we won't know what's going on. It won't be easy to report back. Lei Bao frowned. First release of CS version, let's calm down first. There will be a solution to this. Night Sorrow closed his eyes and thought about possible solutions. He didn't want to retreat just like that. Since he was here, he had to investigate clearly. Otherwise, it would be equivalent to giving up halfway. But the mountain was densely packed with dark beasts. If they didn't fight back, they wouldn't be able to kill them all. It was equivalent to a dead end. Night Sorrow was thinking, and so were the others. They were all thinking of a solution. None of them were people who would give up so easily. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow exhaled and looked at the other four. You guys wait for me here. I'll go take a look. Night Sorrow, are you courting death? There are so many dark beasts and flying beasts. If we're discovered and surrounded, we'll die. Nan Liu said with her eyes wide open. I've thought about it. I don't know what level the dark beasts on the ground are, but the ones in the sky are all around rank 3. There are only a few rank 4 ones. My Tianyu is very fast. If I don't fight, I'll just go and investigate. If I can catch up, I'll kill them with my sky-piercing spear. After investigating, I'll run. It shouldn't be too dangerous. Night Sorrow said. At the same time, he took out 2 sky-piercing spears and tied them to the ice jiao tendon. But it's still too dangerous. Ho Jian said. It's fine. You guys wait for me here. Also, clear out a territory. This area is too small. If a battle happens, there won't be a place to stand. Don't tell me I'll be forced to jump off the cliff. After Yi Shan finished speaking, he released Tianyu. His body flashed and landed on Tianyu's back. Then, he charged towards the black clouds. At this moment, Tianyu was flying at high speed. Before the dark flying creatures could surround him, Tianyu had shaken them off. Alright, let's get to work. Night Sorrow is right. This place isn't safe and we need to clean it up. Otherwise, if we are discovered by the darkness demonic beasts, we won't even have a place to stand, Ho Jian said. Night Sorrow held the reincarnation spear in his right hand and the sky-piercing spear with the ice dragon tendon tied to it in his left hand. He controlled Tianyu to fly rapidly towards the place where the black clouds were rising. Love Go Little Say Tianyu's speed was fast, but the dark flying demonic beasts behind him didn't give up on chasing him. Night Sorrow controlled Tianyu to fly in front while the dark flying demonic beasts chased him from behind. Night Sorrow looked back and discovered that there were rank 4 demonic beasts among the pursuing dark flying demonic beasts. However, their speed couldn't be compared to Tianyu's. Night Sorrow immediately felt relieved. He controlled Tianyu to continue charging towards the place where the black clouds were rising. He had to see the situation of the black clouds, which was the place where the black energy was rising. Tianyu's speed was extremely fast. Soon, he was close to the place where the black clouds were rising. Night Sorrow lowered his head and saw a scene that made his scalp tingle. It was a huge and deep pit that couldn't be seen through. The deep pit was pitch black, like the mouth of a huge beast that wanted to devour people. In the middle of the black pit, the dark energy was constantly rushing upwards like smoke signals. At the edge of the black pit, dark demonic beasts were climbing outwards. Tianyu quickly swept past this area. Wanting to take a closer look, Night Sorrow commanded Tianyu to fly in a circle. He had to shake off the dark flying demonic beasts behind him that couldn't be seen through. Only then would he be able to return to the top of the black pit again. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao say www.aichuxs. Tianyu flew in a big circle, shaking off the pursuing flying demonic beasts and returning to the top of the black hole. After carefully observing again, Night Sorrow felt that this was a large crypt or a different space. If he didn't go in, he wouldn't be able to get detailed information. He immediately planned to leave. Go in. He didn't have the ability to do so. Night Sorrow controlled Tianyu to fly diagonally, flying at the fastest speed possible. With Tianyu's acceleration, the demonic beasts behind him were shaken off. Only a few dark flying creatures that had just taken off were chasing after him. Seeing that he had shaken off the pursuing demonic beasts, Night Sorrow rushed towards the rendezvous point. After scouting enough, they could leave. When they reached the top of the mountain, which was the rendezvous point, Night Sorrow's expression changed. Ho Jian and the others were already surrounded and attacked by dark demonic beasts. There were even flying demonic beasts in the air. One of them was an early-stage rank 5 dark-feathered eagle. This made it impossible for Ho Jian and the others to escape even if they wanted to. If they released their flying mounts, they wouldn't be able to break through the encirclement of the dark creatures. They wouldn't be able to get to the back of the flying demonic beasts. In addition, there were flying demonic beasts in the air. Even if they released their rank 3 flying mounts, they would still be besieged. This is crazy. Captain just left for a while and we're already in such a sorry state. We're going to be killed here. Lei Jing cursed. We have cultivation, but our combat strength is not enough. Don't talk about fighting like Night Sorrow. Nan Liyue was also depressed because if this continued, they wouldn't be able to hold on for long. They were fighting with all their strength and didn't notice that Night Sorrow had returned. Seeing such a situation, Night Sorrow frowned. He could easily leave, but it would be more difficult to save them. Ho Jian and the others had attracted too many dark demonic beasts to besiege them. There were 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. But Yi Shang couldn't just abandon them and leave by himself. He roared at Tianyu and ordered Tianyu to fight the rank 5 dark-feathered eagle. Night Sorrow floated down from Tianyu's back and landed in front of Ho Jian and the others. Night Sorrow, you know that it's hard for us to escape. Why did you come down? Lei Bao, who had already prepared to die, roared when he saw Night Sorrow return. Don't say anything. You don't have to care about me. Retreat to the back and let the flying demonic beasts escape. Lei Jing, you go first. When you reach the sea, release the ship and control the defensive crystal to support everyone. Night Sorrow swung his reincarnation spear and forced the dark creatures to retreat. The sky-piercing spear with ice dragon tendons in his left hand also shot out towards the flying demonic beasts in the sky. He wanted to provide space for Tianyu to fight. Under the protection of the others, Lei Jing released his Thunderbird and flashed onto its back. At this moment, Ho Jian's shoulder was hit by a dark demonic tiger's claw. Ho Jian's chi shield was shattered and a trace of red appeared at the corner of his mouth. Next, Nan Liyue, retreat. Night Sorrow ordered again. I'm not leaving. If we leave together. Nan Liyue roared. I told you to leave, so leave. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Night Sorrow turned around and roared. As he turned around, Night Sorrow's waist was hit by a dark python's tail, causing him to stagger. Biting her lips, Nan Liyue took the opportunity to release her mount. She flashed onto her mount and flew towards the back of the mountain to meet up with Lei Jing. Next, Ho Jian, let's go. Night Sorrow shouted. Chapter 393. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao. We provide you with interesting novels to read. The moment Ho Jian got on his flying mount, a darkness panther leapt towards his back. Night Sorrow turned around and shot, killing the darkness panther. However, because he couldn't dodge in time, his back was slapped by a darkness zombie, causing him to stagger. Baidu search love go female sign Shao Shua www.aiqx. This caused Ho Jian, who was controlling his flying mount to leave, to turn around and look at the scene. Fortunately, Night Sorrow stood firm and continued to fight, causing Ho Jian to give up on the idea of returning to fight. Tianyu flapped his wings in the air, constantly finding gaps to fight with the other flying monsters. Although the pressure was great, and the danger was great, he was temporarily safe. Lei Bao, the chances of you leaving are much smaller. If we die here, then it's my fault as a brother. Baidu search love go female sign Shao Shua www.aiqx. Calm, Night Sorrow said while shooting. I'm very happy that you didn't let me leave first. This proves that you treat me as a brother. Fighting side by side with a brother, I can die without regrets. Lei Bao said while swinging his heavy sword. Ha! Good brother, thank you for understanding me. Retreat towards the edge of the cliff and take the opportunity to run. Night Sorrow said with a laugh. All right. I won't be pretentious. If I have the chance, I will run. I believe that you will run too. If I don't see you in 4 hours, then I will come back and use my life to prove our brotherhood. Baidu search love go female sign xiao shua www.aichux.com. Lei Bao said. Night Sorrow and Lei Bao retreated as they fought, and soon reached the edge of the cliff. Lei Bao, release the Thunderbird first and let it reach the bottom of the cliff. Then you jump towards the cliff. This way you have a better chance. Night Sorrow's myriad Tao Tome's energy and innate chi burst forth. He flashed and stood in front of Lei Bao, blocking all the dark demonic beasts and giving Lei Bao a chance to escape. Lei Bao's movements were also very fast. After releasing the Thunderbird, he immediately rushed over and grabbed the Thunderbird's neck. Then, he rolled onto the Thunderbird's back and controlled it to leave. Seeing that Lei Bao had successfully escaped, Night Sorrow felt a little more at ease. His left hand continued to throw the sky-piercing spear, helping Tianyu to resolve the crisis. At the same time, his mind was quickly thinking of a way to escape. He knew that he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Right now, more than half of the true Qi and the myriad Tao Tome's energy had been consumed. At the same time, Tianyu's energy was also greatly depleted. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow raised his protective shield. After launching the sky-piercing spear, he leaped into the air and launched the 7 stars glorious moon spear at the rank 5 dark-feathered eagle, ignoring the attacks of the other demonic beasts. At the same time, he ordered Tianyu to avoid the attacks of the other flying demonic beasts and fly down the cliff. The dark-feathered eagle's attack power was average, but its speed was extremely fast. Night Sorrow had launched the sky-piercing spear at it a few times, but it had dodged them all. At the moment, it was Tianyu's biggest threat. Facing Night Sorrow's 7 stars glorious moon spear attack, the dark-feathered eagle flapped its wings and dodged in a flash. However, because it dodged, the crisis of Tianyu being entangled in battle was resolved by Night Sorrow. After resolving the crisis of being entangled in battle, Tianyu flew down the cliff. Night Sorrow helped Tianyu to resolve the crisis, but he himself wasn't in a good situation. He was attacked by more than 10 dark creatures. The continuous attacks shattered Night Sorrow's protective barrier. Following that, the beast's jaws, claws, and even the zombie's palms greeted Night Sorrow's body, sending Night Sorrow's attacks flying. Night Sorrow, who was sent flying, was heavily injured even with the protection of the myriad Dao's tome. Both his arms, waist, and legs were covered in wounds. In Chapter 5a, Section Yi, Night Sorrow, who was sent flying, fell down the cliff. However, Tianyu, who was already at the bottom of the cliff, accelerated and caught Night Sorrow. "Don't care about anything else, run!" Night Sorrow shouted at Tianyu. Using injuries to exchange for a chance to escape was Night Sorrow's idea and purpose. Now that he had achieved his goal, what else could he do other than run? Night Sorrow, who sat up, first consumed a drop of origin spiritual liquid. Then, he crawled to the front of Tianyu's neck. With a flip of his body, he went below Tianyu's head and fed Tianyu a drop of origin spiritual liquid. After that, he returned to Tianyu's back. After consuming the origin spiritual liquid, Night Sorrow and Tianyu quickly recovered to their peak condition. Sitting on Tianyu's back, Night Sorrow checked the injuries on his body. Then, he looked at the dark-feathered eagle that was chasing after them. The dark-feathered eagle's cultivation base was at the void inquiry stage. In other words, it had just advanced to the 5th grade. Its speed was extremely fast and was on par with Tianyu. However, Night Sorrow was not afraid. As long as they were not surrounded, being chased by this dark-feathered eagle would not be fatal. Very soon, Night Sorrow and Tianyu arrived at the shore. At this moment, Ho Jian and the others were already inside the ship. They did not activate the ship's defenses. Instead, they stood on the ship and fought against the flying demonic beasts while waiting for Night Sorrow. The strength of the crystal defensive barrier of the ship was very high. Even a mid-fifth grade demonic beast would not be able to break it. Now, they did not activate the defensive barrier because they were waiting for Night Sorrow. Don't worry about me. I still have a ship. I just want to take care of this thing that is chasing after me. If it continues to chase after us, I will definitely take care of it. Night Sorrow shouted at Ho Jian and the others. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Lei Jing shrunk back into the ship and activated the energy barrier. Then, crackling sounds could be heard. It was the sound of the dark flying demonic beasts attacking the crystal barrier. However, it was all in vain as they could not break the defense of the energy barrier. After the ship was activated, its speed increased. The flying demonic beasts could not keep up with them and were shaken off by the ship. The dark feathered eagle chased after Tianyu. When it reached the sky above the realm sea, something happened. Not to mention increasing its speed, it could no longer continue the chase. Its body began to shake and fall. It was the energy of the realm sea and the energy vortex in the sky that attacked its spirit sea. At this moment, Night Sorrow's interest was piqued. He threw the ship in his hand into the sea, at the place where the dark-feathered eagle fell. After the dark-feathered eagle landed on the ship, Night Sorrow ordered Tianyu to intercept the other flying demonic beasts. Then, he flashed and landed on the ship. If you want to live, you have to submit to me. Otherwise, even if I don't kill you, you won't be able to live. Even if you live, your foundation will be destroyed. Think about it yourself. Night Sorrow said to the dark-feathered eagle. Night Sorrow was very interested in the dark-feathered eagle. The dark-feathered eagle's attack power was not high, but speed was its forte. Night Sorrow did not need to change his Tianyu. He could not change his Sikong Chuyu's fire phoenix. However, Yang Lei's azure condor could not keep up with the pace. Its speed and fighting power were not good enough. Looking at Night Sorrow, the dark-feathered eagle's black eyes were filled with ferocity. What? Not convinced? Then just wait for the heaven and earth energy here to shatter your deity ocean. Yi Shan said. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, the dark-feathered eagle's body trembled. I know you can understand me. Dying like this is meaningless. Why don't you come with me? The outside world is still very big. I admire you. Night Sorrow said. Hearing Yi Shang's words, the dark-feathered eagle opened its eyes. Its eyes were filled with pain and hesitation. Chapter 394. A genius remembers love in 1 second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Looking at Night Sorrow's hand, the dark-feathered eagle hesitated for a moment and knocked its head against Night Sorrow's palm. I * the only genuine LW, NQ it. It's all pirated. Night Sorrow took out a blank beast-taming crystal and stored the dark-feathered eagle into the beast-taming space. Tianyu, go. Night Sorrow entered the ship and did not activate the protective shield. He directly inserted the spirit stones and drove the ship to chase after Ho Jian and the others. After Tianyu killed the dark vulture, he turned around and chased after Night Sorrow, leaving the flying Yao beasts behind him. Soon, Night Sorrow caught up with Ho Jian and the others. After retrieving the Tianyu and the ship, Night Sorrow flashed into Ho Jian's ship, which had already activated the crystal shield. Seeing Night Sorrow enter the ship, Lei Jing activated the crystal shield, adjusted the direction, and continued forward. Captain, are you all right? Ho Jian asked. They're all external wounds. There's just some corpse poison, but it's not a big problem. Night Sorrow took out a detoxification pill and swallowed it. Let's skip the pleasantries. I, Ho Jian, owe you my life. Ho Jian cupped his hands towards Night Sorrow. Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's drink, it's so tiring. Night Sorrow took out a wine jar, poured himself a bowl of wine, and drank it all in one gulp. Love go little say Ku, how did you escape from the type 5 dark-feathered eagle? Lei Bao asked. It didn't escape, I just caught it. My 9th senior sister's mount isn't very good, this one suits her very well, Night Sorrow said. Caught? I'm speechless. He caught a rank 5 dark-feathered eagle just like that. I'm convinced. There's nothing else to say. Lei Bao patted his head and said. Mission complete. Lei Jing, open up the shield. I'm going to change my clothes. I'm just a piece of cloth, Night Sorrow said with a smile as he looked at his clothes. I'll turn around, you can deal with it. We're not going to argue about this. Nan Liu'e turned around and said. Night Sorrow was not pretentious. He took off all his clothes, leaving only his shorts on. He let Lei Bao apply some medicine on his shoulder and back. Then, he changed into a clean set of clothes and casually threw the tattered clothes out through the gap in the crystal shield that Lei Jing had opened. Lei Jing, control the direction and speed well. That way, we can calculate the direction and distance accurately, Night Sorrow shouted to Lei Jing. Don't worry, Captain. I'll take care of this. Lei Jing nodded to Night Sorrow. His feelings towards Night Sorrow had changed. He was very grateful to Night Sorrow for taking care of him. This mission is really tiring. I wonder how Tianji Tower and the City Lord's mansion will deal with this. Night Sorrow said as he drank a mouthful of wine. Captain, what's the situation over there? Nan Liu'e asked. It's a huge black hole. It's so dark inside that we can't see anything clearly. There's dark energy rolling in the middle and dark monsters climbing around it. Night Sorrow said. Then it could be a huge cave, a different space, or a spatial crack. Ho Jian thought for a moment and said. Just as I thought. It must be a special space. The area will be very large. Night Sorrow nodded. The mission was over. Although Night Sorrow felt relieved, he was also worried about the situation. There were too many dark creatures, and there were also zombies and zombies with death attributes. It was very difficult to deal with. It was a huge crisis. Captain, are you worried? Nan Liu'e asked Night Sorrow. Yes. We're considered the stronger group of Stage 4 experts. If we can't do it, who knows how many cultivators will die in the future. Night Sorrow sighed. Captain, you're thinking too much. The Venerable can't come out to investigate because he has to avoid the intersection of the realm's sea and the sky. He has to fly at high altitudes, and he can't see the situation in the realm's sea. This time, we have the direction and distance, which is equivalent to positioning. The Venerable can directly fly to the island to solve the problem. So, there's nothing for us to do, Ho Jian said. Now, Ho Jian and the others were calling Night Sorrow Captain. They were sincerely convinced. Night Sorrow really did a good job as a captain. He did what he should and shouldn't do. That's true. I'm not smart enough. If the Venerable can reach, then there's no problem. I was worried for nothing. After hearing Ho Jian's explanation, Night Sorrow felt a lot better. In the future, we'll form an adventure team. We'll go to other regions in the future anyway, Nan Liu'e said. Okay. I agree, Ho Jian said. We brothers have no objections. This matter is settled then, Lei Bao said. He could represent Lei Jing. While Night Sorrow and the others were rushing to Waterfront City, Lei Hu came to Wu Lingfei's cultivation area. Lei Hu reported Night Sorrow's situation. It was about Night Sorrow opening his spirit sea and the defense inside. Hearing Lei Hu's words, Wu Lingfei stood up. Opening his spirit sea. Opening his spirit sea at the 4th stage. It seems that his body refining cultivation technique is very powerful. This is understandable. With your cultivation, it's hard to explain why you were injured. This subordinate has seen a soul defense spirit weapon. It can't hurt this subordinate. However, when this subordinate was investigating Night Sorrow's spirit sea, the soul force I released was directly scattered. This subordinate withdrew it in time. Otherwise, this subordinate would have been seriously injured. Lei Hua bowed and said, "According to what you said, he injured you when he was in a relaxed state. There should be something special in his spirit sea that can defend itself. This thing's level is very high. As for how high it is, it's hard to estimate. Let's wait for him to come back first." Wu Lingfei said. "Yes." Lei Hua nodded. Night Sorrow and the others drove the ship towards Waterfront City. They ignored the dark creatures floating on the surface of the sea. As long as the root of the problem was solved, these dark creatures wouldn't be a threat to the eastern Xian region. They wouldn't even be able to break through Waterfront City. The feeling of escaping from death is really good. Ho Jian said as he drank. "Ha! It's really exciting. When you guys ran, I thought I would die with the captain. I didn't expect that I wouldn't be injured at all. I, Lei Bao, am back full of energy." Lei Bao patted his chest and said, "That's because the captain risked his life to save us. If the captain didn't land, we would have been torn to pieces by those disgusting things." Nan Liuel looked at Night Sorrow and nodded gratefully. "Didn't you recognize me as a friend?" "Yes." "Then there's no need to be so polite," Night Sorrow said with a smile. "Now I understand why the captain is so much stronger than us even though we have the same cultivation. It's just like the elders of our Southern Dipper sect said. The captain's cultivation is completely obtained through killing." Nan Liuel looked at Night Sorrow and said, "Captain, when we go back, you gave Ninth Senior Sister a 5th stage mount. She will definitely be overjoyed," Lei Zhang said with a smile. Chapter 395. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. We will provide you with interesting novels to read. I'm sorry about that. My 9th senior sister's mount is a little bad, so she needs to change. When we catch a suitable mount, we will give it to you. Love go little say, True Night Sorrow said with a smile. Captain, I don't believe your words. Do you think a good mount is a rotten vegetable? Do you think you can pick it up and catch it as you please? Nan Liu said with a smile. It's true. When Lei Bao and I went to the alternate dimension, I caught a rank 3, level 6 tiger eagle that hasn't reached adulthood yet. I gave it to a friend in Medicine Valley. Didn't I catch a good mount this time? Night Sorrow said with a smile. All right. Captain, you are mighty. The three of you listen up. In the future, when Captain has a good mount, I will go first. If I don't want it, then you can snatch it, Nan Liu said. Why? Ho Jian looked at Nan Liu with dissatisfaction. Because I'm a woman. Nan Liu stared at Ho Jian and said. Okay. Ho Jian turned his head. He knew that there was no chance of winning if he bickered with Nan Liu. Our Thunderbird still has potential, so we don't need to change it, Lei Bao shook his head and said. The few of them chatted and laughed, and they returned to Linhai City in a day. Love go little say, Chu when they reached the coastline, Night Sorrow and the others realized that the situation was different from a few days ago. The city guards and cultivators of Linhai City had completely sealed off the coastline. Night Sorrow and the others put on their masks and left the ship. After keeping the ship, Lei Jing handed the bracelet to Night Sorrow. Sirs, this subordinate is the law enforcer of the Celestial Terminus Tower's Waterfront City branch. The higher-ups have ordered you to report directly to Dongxian City upon your return. A man walked up to Yi Shang and the others and bowed. Okay. Night Sorrow nodded. After returning to Waterfront City, the man arranged for them to return to Dongxian City via a transportation array without paying any spirit stones. Because they were wearing masks, it was not appropriate for them to release their flying demonic beasts to swagger through the city. Therefore, they took a beast carriage to Tianji Tower. When the staff of Tianji Tower saw that they were wearing masks, they quickly bowed and led Night Sorrow and the others to a private room. Then, they went to inform the higher-ups. Soon, Lei Hua, Ho Yuan, and Yin Shui arrived at the private room. Night Sorrow and the others also took off their masks. What's the situation? Have you investigated it thoroughly? Lei Hua asked after sitting down. Night Sorrow and the others recounted the results of their investigation, as well as the location and distance of the Dark Island. That's right, this is your mission reward. Everyone has 2 bottles of Spirit Spring liquid. Night Sorrow, Ho Jian, and Nan Liyue are all at the peak of the 4th order, but don't be in a hurry to break through. The Spirit Spring liquid can be used after the 5th order. Lei Hua took out a few jade bottles and gave them to everyone. Only G1E genuine version L, and his carrot B he is all C. Yes, ex-pirate are also, don't leave Dongxian City. There might be other missions, Lei Hua continued. I need to say something to all of you. Just find the place. Why do you need to take such a big risk? You are all Tianji Tower's elites. We can't afford to lose you, Yin Shui said to them. That's right. As long as we know the location, someone will take care of the rest. You really shouldn't take such a risk. Remember that in the future, Lei Hua said. Division Master, these are the wristbands for the ships. Night Sorrow handed 2 wristbands to Lei Hua. You guys go and rest. If you don't want to go to the inn, then go to Night Sorrow's place for a few days. Night Sorrow, leave with me for a while. Lei Hua stood up and said. You're reading on novel full thanks. Lei Hua stood up and said. Then, Lei Hua took Night Sorrow to Wu Lingfei's cultivation place and reported about the Black Island. Then you and Ho Yuan go and take a look. Be careful, Wu Lingfei said. After receiving the order, Lei Hua left. It's a good thing that you've opened up your spirit sea, but it's also very important whether it's perfect or not. Lei Hua told me about your situation. The treasure in your spirit sea must be kept a secret. Otherwise, it'll be troublesome, Wu Lingfei said. Junior understands. Night Sorrow nodded. At the current stage, you have to focus on cultivating your bloodline talent. You have to dig out your bloodline talent. A cultivator's trump card is very important. It's the key to saving your life and turning the tables, Wu Lingfei said. Recently, the 2nd energy point has been showing signs of activity. It shouldn't be long before it can be activated. Senior, keep this interspatial bracelet well. Night Sorrow handed the bracelet back to Wu Lingfei. You have to study the treasure in your spirit sea more. It's rare for a treasure to have its own consciousness. It's even rarer for it to be able to injure Lei Hua. If you can study it, you'll have more ways to protect yourself, Wu Lingfei reminded Night Sorrow. Thank you for your guidance, Senior. Night Sorrow nodded. Don't be nervous. Sit down and talk. In public, I'm your superior. In private, we can be considered friends. Wu Lingfei waved her hand at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded and sat down on the rock behind him. I hope you can agree to one thing, Wu Lingfei said. Senior, please speak, Night Sorrow said. You're from the Grand Pure Region's Night Moon Dynasty. I can confirm this, but I still hope you can treat the Eastern Xian region as your home. Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow with her beautiful eyes. Night Sorrow can do that. Please rest assured, Senior. Night Sorrow got up and bowed to Wu Lingfei. Sit down. We can chat casually. I'll just complain to you. Wu Lingfei waved her hand at Night Sorrow. Senior can do as you wish. Junior will listen. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine and handed it to Wu Lingfei. Holding the jar of wine in her right hand, Wu Lingfei touched her golden mask with her left hand. After thinking for a while, she waved her left hand and took off the golden mask. Beautiful. Her beauty was suffocating, cold, and inviolable. It was as beautiful as a poem. She had a perfect oval face and sparkling eyes. When she looked around, people couldn't look straight at her. I've never shown my true face to anyone. You're the first. Wu Lingfei opened the jar and poured herself a bowl of wine. Night Sorrow stood up, extremely shocked. He was actually the first person to see Wu Lingfei's true face. Sit down. Because you're young, you don't understand anything. So I don't have any scruples speaking in front of you. The overall level of the Eastern Xian region's cultivators is low. I've been holding them back all these years, not letting the other 8 regions invade. I've been very tired. But your appearance has given me hope. Wu Lingfei took a sip of wine and said. Senior's words are too serious. The Eastern Xian region has Senior Leihua, Senior Inxue, and the others. Junior is just a small soldier charging through the enemy lines. Night Sorrow stood up and said. You don't understand. When there are many experts, it will create a situation where there are many people. But to decide the outcome of a war, that's something only top experts can do. But in you, I see hope. Of course, you still have a long way to go. Wu Lingfei sighed and said. Junior will definitely work hard and won't let Senior down. Night Sorrow could feel the expectation in Wu Lingfei's eyes. Chapter 396. A genius remembers love in 1 second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow nodded as he pondered. He didn't think too much about it, he just wanted to make the best use of his time to increase his cultivation. Wu Lingfei took a sip of wine and said, You have great potential. Once you improve your cultivation, you will be invincible among your peers. If there is anything you don't understand in the future, or if you need my help, just come and find me. Night Sorrow is really grateful for Senior's care. If there's anything Senior needs Night Sorrow to do, please let me know, Night Sorrow said. How about this, you don't have to call me Senior. Just call me Aunt Fei from now on, and I will call you by your name. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Auntie Fei. Yi Shang bowed to Wu Ling concubine. His greeting this time was different from before. Auntie Fei will accept your gift. This is Auntie Fei's gift to you. Wu Lingfei took out a dark gray crystal and handed it to Night Sorrow. Aunt Fei, what is this? Night Sorrow didn't refuse and took the gray crystal. This was Wu Lingfei's greeting gift, so it wouldn't be appropriate if he didn't accept it. This is a spatial crystal. It's different from the spatial crystals used by teleportation arrays. The energy in this spatial crystal can be absorbed to cultivate. Your bloodline talent contains spatial power. Try absorbing this energy to increase the strength of your bloodline talent. Wu Lingfei explained to Yi Shan. That's right, Wu Lingfei explained to Yi Shan. Then I'll give it a try when I get back. Auntie Fei, this is my gift to you. Night Sorrow took out 2 bottles of Origin Spirit Liquid and handed them to Wu Lingfei. Wu Lingfei took it and opened the bottle to take a look. This is a water attribute spiritual liquid. It's very inclusive and suitable for all cultivators. However, it's the same for me if I use spirit stones to cultivate. You can keep this. Auntie Fei, please accept it. Also, you said that you need spirit stones to cultivate. I still have spirit stones here, Night Sorrow said. Haha. You're quite generous, but there are some things you don't understand. Auntie Faye's cultivation uses high-grade spirit stones, or even top-grade spirit stones. If I were to use your little bit of wealth, it would probably be used up in a few days. Love go little say Wu Lingfei said with a smile. She liked Yi Shang's attitude and personality of, if you treat me well, I'll treat you well. I do have some top-grade spirit stones. Knight Sorrow waved his hand and 100 top-grade spirit stones appeared in front of Wu Lingfei. So many, where did you get so many top-grade spirit stones? Wu Lingfei looked at the pile of top-grade spirit stones in astonishment. For most new chapters up G%, I got them in a different space. I dug them out from the water attribute spiritual stone, Knight Sorrow said. Top-grade spirit stones have always been extremely rare. Even if you use a high proportion of high-grade spirit stones to exchange, you can't get them. But you took out so many at once. Quickly put them away, Auntie Faye can't accept them. Wu Lingfei shook her head and said. Auntie Faye, please accept them. I still have some. Last time, I really got a lot of them. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Wu Lingfei thought about it and put away the spirit stones. After seeing you, Auntie Faye's path seems to be a lot smoother. First of all, the pain that tormented Auntie Faye for a long time has been solved. The bottleneck that has troubled Auntie Faye for countless years has also been loosened. It seems that I can cross it at any time. Is this fate? Love go little say Ku, Auntie Faye's words are too serious. Knight Sorrow said with a shake of his head. You have a lot of treasures now, so you have to be careful. As for your spirit sea, Auntie Faye doesn't know what's going on. You have opened your spirit sea, so you can use your spirit sea to study it. Wu Lingfei looked at Knight Sorrow and reminded him again. Knight Sorrow understands. Then I'll go back first. Knight Sorrow nodded. He knew that Wu Lingfei was sincerely looking out for him and had high hopes for him. Wu Lingfei waved her arm and sent another mysterious jade spirit chi into Knight Sorrow's body. You can't refine this spirit chi. With this spirit chi, Auntie Faye can find you at any time. Knight Sorrow nodded embarrassedly because he had already refined 2 mysterious jade spirit chi from Wu Lingfei. Then Knight Sorrow rode Tianyu back to Qingxin Courtyard. Inside Qingxin Courtyard, Ho Jian and the others were chatting with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Captain is back. Where did that lord take you? Why did it take so long? Nan Liu asked. We went to see a lord. The 4 of you can stay here with me for a few days. Knight Sorrow sat down and said. That's for sure. We don't have to worry about the Dark Island. However, with so many dark creatures appearing, there will probably be missions issued. Ho Jian said. Then we'll accept missions if there are any. Yang Lei poured a cup of tea for Knight Sorrow and said. Ninth senior sister, I'm worried that you and big sister Chiyu won't be able to accept the internal missions of Tianji Tower. Lei Jing said. I'm sorry, ninth senior sister. I'm also an inspector of Tianji Tower. Yang Lei took out her inspector token and waved it. Ho Jian and the others were all from Tianji Tower. They were at least inspectors, so there was no need to hide it. Ninth senior sister, I, Lei Jing, underestimated you. Isn't it boring for big sister Chuyu to stay here alone? Lei Jing looked at Sikong Chuyu. I really don't want to hurt you, but I can only apologize. Sikong Chuyu also took out his inspector token. How are you blind? You're blind. Nan Liu said with a laugh. Okay. I admit that I'm blind. Lei Jing rubbed his forehead. Ninth senior sister, I have a gift for you. Knight Sorrow took out the beast-taming crystal that contained the black-feathered eagle and released it. After the black-feathered eagle came out, it circled in the air and landed in front of Night Sorrow. A rank 5 dark attributed flying demonic beast. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow in shock. Yes, do you like it? Night Sorrow asked. Handsome, of course I like it. How can I not like it? Yang Lei said excitedly. Night Sorrow nodded and pulled Yang Lei in front of him. He then communicated with the black-feathered eagle. First, he told the black-feathered eagle about his relationship with Yang Lei, proving that he didn't abandon it and that they would fight side by side in the future. After that, he passed the beast-taming crystal to Yang Lei. Yang Lei held the beast-taming crystal and patted the black-feathered eagle's head. Her eyes were filled with joy. It's good that you like it. Communicate with it more, and you'll be able to use it like an extension of your arm. It won't be a problem for it to reach the peak of rank 5. All it needs is time and energy. Night Sorrow said. Very good, now Ninth Senior Sister's green eagle can be sent to retire. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. During this period of time, Yang Lei's mount couldn't keep up with the pace. Sikong Chuyu also saw it. Now that this problem was solved, she was also happy. Ninth Senior Sister, arrange a guest room for them. I'm going to cultivate. There's something I need to figure out. Night Sorrow nodded to Yang Lei and walked towards the secret cultivation room in the main building. He's already at the peak of the spirit severing stage, and he still wants to cultivate. How annoying. Nan Liu said with some emotion. Chapter 397. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow wanted to see if the space crystal given to him by Wu Ling concubine had any effect. Sitting in the training room, Night Sorrow held the space crystal with both hands and began to cultivate. There was a difference between spirit stones and crystals. The energy contained in spirit stones was also different. Spirit stones contained ordinary energy, which was relatively common. However, crystals with attributes were extremely rare. Night Sorrow knew a little about elemental knowledge. He knew that spatial elemental crystals were extremely rare. The space crystal given to him by Wu Ling concubine was the size of 2 fists. It was much bigger than a top-grade spirit stone. Holding the crystal with both hands, Night Sorrow circulated the myriad Tao Tomes energy and true Qi and began to cultivate. Night Sorrow then realized that the myriad Tao Tomes energy and true Qi could not trigger a reaction from the space crystal. After stopping his cultivation, Night Sorrow thought for a moment. He withdrew the myriad Tao Tomes energy and stopped circulating his true Qi. Then, he activated the bloodline talent energy under the dragon bone and used it to touch the space crystal. As Night Sorrow circulated the bloodline talent energy to his hands, the space crystal reacted. Pure energy entered Night Sorrow's body. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs. Seong. When the energy entered his body, Night Sorrow quickly used his bloodline talent energy to refine it. Since he could absorb it, refining it was naturally not a problem. Night Sorrow's bloodline talent energy smoothly refined the energy that entered his body. After that, Night Sorrow's cultivation became easier. His true Qi and the myriad Tao Tomes cultivation conflicted with the absorption of space energy. Night Sorrow cultivated his soul power, cultivating his soul power and absorbing space energy at the same time. After cultivating for an hour, Night Sorrow realized that his bloodline talent energy was reaching saturation, so he stopped cultivating. After looking at the slightly lighter color of the space crystal, Night Sorrow started to use the energy of the first bloodline to touch the second energy point. As Night Sorrow controlled his bloodline talent energy to bombard the second energy point, the second bloodline talent energy point was activated, and the energy of the first energy point merged together. This allowed Night Sorrow's bloodline talent to grow stronger. Next, Night Sorrow took the space crystal and continued to cultivate. After cultivating for an entire day, Night Sorrow went out. His second bloodline talent had also been strengthened. At the very least, the amount of bloodline talent he could use now was at least twice as much as before. A portion of the space crystal's energy was consumed. In the courtyard, Night Sorrow stretched his neck and used the 2 bloodline talents to cast spatial rend. Hiss! A spatial energy slash was sent out, cutting a bluestone statue in the courtyard in half. Moreover, there was no violent sound. Night Sorrow waved his arm excitedly. The power of this spatial rend was too fierce. It was almost impossible to defend against because it was too fast and hidden. What are you doing? Ah! Yang Lei walked out of her loft and was stunned when she saw the stone sculpture that had been split in half. Where are the others? Night Sorrow used his soul power to investigate. He did not find Ho Jian and the others in the house. They went out to play. They are not people who can stay quietly, Yang Lei said. Night Sorrow and Yang Lei chatted. Soon, Sikong Chuyu came out. The 3 of them drank tea and chatted. Night Sorrow was in a good mood. He had solved the problem of 2 bloodline talents. Next, he could study the 3rd one. Unfortunately, the space crystal's energy consumption was relatively fast. After strengthening 2 bloodline talents, half of the space crystal's energy had been consumed. According to this consumption and progress, Night Sorrow felt that he could strengthen 1 more point. The 4th point could not be completed. After drinking a few cups of tea, Night Sorrow began to cultivate his spear art. He continued to increase the conversion speed of the myriad Dao's treasured tome and his qi, as well as the conversion speed of the 3 types of energy. After fighting for a while, Night Sorrow found that these 2 skills were very important in battle. After Night Sorrow cultivated for a while, Ho Jian and the others returned. Come, I bought a pair of rare game today. It's a 7-color pheasant. This thing is very rare. It tastes very good. I will be the chef today, Lei Zhang said as he carried a pair of 7-color pheasants. Yi Shang nodded with a smile. He was more interested in birds and wild game. After everyone drank some wine, Night Sorrow continued to cultivate. He wanted to stimulate the bloodline talents as soon as possible. Currently, he was absorbing the space crystal's energy to cultivate. He could not cultivate both his qi and the myriad Dao's treasured tome. His qi was fine. He could condense it on his own. However, Night Sorrow could not afford to delay the cultivation of the myriad Dao's treasured tome. Night Sorrow sat down cross-legged. He did not directly absorb the spatial energy. Instead, he controlled the energy of the first 2 bloodline talents to stimulate the 3rd bloodline talent. As time passed, the 3rd bloodline talent under Night Sorrow's dragon bone slowly loosened. After 2 days, the 3rd bloodline talent was successfully stimulated by Night Sorrow. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. Night Sorrow then took out the space crystal and absorbed the spatial energy to strengthen the spatial energy in the 3rd bloodline talent. When the spatial energy in the 3rd bloodline talent was strengthened by Night Sorrow, the space crystal turned into a transparent stone without any energy. Night Sorrow threw away the space crystal in his hand and stood up. When he stopped cultivating, Night Sorrow discovered something that made him extremely happy. The energy within the 3 innate bloodline energy points could circulate on their own, forming a cycle between the 3 energy points. They began to absorb the energy of heaven and earth to cultivate on their own. At the same time, the absorbed energy rushed towards the 4th innate bloodline energy point. This made Night Sorrow know that it was only a matter of time before the 4th bloodline talent was stimulated. Night Sorrow stretched his waist and walked out of the secret cultivation room. Captain, you don't have to do this, right? Seeing Night Sorrow come out, Nan Liua said. What's wrong with me? Oh, it's my fault for neglecting you guys. Night Sorrow said apologetically. It's not that. You're already so strong now and you're still working so hard. How can we endure this? Nan Liu said with a bitter smile. I've been a little troubled recently. I just solved it. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Captain, you didn't go out. You don't know how serious the problem with the dark creatures is now. Ho Jian said. There's a mission. Night Sorrow asked. No, I just heard that a large number of dark creatures have appeared in Zhonghai City. There's also a problem with the defense. The dark creatures have already invaded. It's said that there are even venerable dark creatures. Ho Jian said. Venerable dark creatures. Isn't this going to be a mess? Night Sorrow said with some worry. Chapter 398. Genius 1 Second. Remember love, Go Pshao. We provide you with interesting novels to read. That's two different things. Star Cloud's sect has a grudge against me in Medicine Valley, but the people in that area are innocent. If the problem isn't solved, it will be a disaster for humanity. Night Sorrow shook his head and said. Night Sorrow, it's a good thing that you're not blinded by hatred. We have a grudge against Star Cloud's sect, but we don't need the help of dark creatures. If we want to fight them, we can do it ourselves, Yang Lei said. Then why aren't there any missions? Night Sorrow was a little puzzled. Maybe they don't think we need to do anything. We're the sharp knife, so we have to use it where it's needed most, Lei Bao said confidently. After chatting with them for a while, Night Sorrow rode the Tianyu to Tianji Tower. There was still some distance, so Night Sorrow got off the Tianyu and put on his mask. With the mask on, Night Sorrow went to the Tianji Tower to relieve himself and went straight to the top floor. Night Sorrow saw Yin Shui on the top floor. Lei Hua and Ho Yuan weren't there. You're here. Sit. Yin Shui pointed at the chair across from her. Senior Yin Shui, is the situation very bad now? Night Sorrow asked. That's right. Vice Division Master Lei and the City Lord's mansion's people have gone to those places and haven't returned yet. Elder Ho and the others went to Riversea City. Currently, Riversea City is facing a serious problem. A venerable rank dark creature is invading. We don't know how it crossed the realm sea. Baidu search love go shao shua www.aichux.com, Yin Shui said. That's a very serious problem. A venerable dark creature will bring a great disaster to humanity, Night Sorrow said. Don't worry. A venerable dark creature won't be able to cause much trouble. The main problem is the source. We suspect that the source of this crisis is the same. It's just that the channel is different, Yin Shui explained to Night Sorrow. What do you need us to do? Night Sorrow asked. There's no need. I'll inform you if I need anything. Let's wait for Vice Palace Master Lei and Elder Ho to come back first. Yin Shui shook her head. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood that the current situation was very big, and there were no specific arrangements yet. You should continue to consolidate your cultivation. Don't be in a hurry to advance for the time being. Also, if you need anything, just let us know. As long as Tianji Tower can do it, there will be no problem. You are now the core of Tianji Tower, Yin Shui said. That's true, but I can make an exchange. Night Sorrow hesitated for a moment. He felt that if there were still space crystals, they would be of great help to his bloodline talent. Don't be so polite, just say it. Yin Shui said with a smile. He understood Night Sorrow and knew that Night Sorrow was not a greedy person. Even if he needed something, he would do it through his own efforts or through an exchange. Space crystals. Crystals that contain space energy, Night Sorrow said. All right. I'll go to the warehouse to check later. If there isn't any in Eastern Profound region, I'll send a message to the headquarters, Yin Shui said. After that, Night Sorrow left Tianji Tower. He took a stroll on the street and bought some snacks before returning to his house. Captain, why did you buy snacks? Did you get any information from Tianji Tower? Lei Bao asked. They knew that Night Sorrow had gone to Tianji Tower to inquire about information. Night Sorrow nodded and told them what he had found out. Then we'll just wait for the news quietly. Also, I'm planning to enter seclusion to break through to the void inquiry stage, Ho Jian said. Ho Jian, it's not suitable for you to break through at this time. If it's a different space, there might be restrictions on the spatial passageway. 5th rank cultivators might not be able to do what 4th rank cultivators can do, Nan Liu said. You're right. Then I'll continue to cultivate. Ho Jian nodded. It was common knowledge that spatial passageways usually had energy restrictions. There's a bottleneck in cultivation. It can't be improved after reaching a certain level. However, there's no limit to the improvement of combat skills and combatability. You're all elites of the major forces. You can communicate with each other to improve your strength. Night Sorrow expressed his opinion. Ho Jian and the other three agreed with Night Sorrow's idea. Then, they went to spar with each other and shared their comprehension of techniques. Yang Lei had been communicating with the Black Feather Eagle. After obtaining a flying demonic beast, communication was also very important. Night Sorrow did not practice combat. He had been meditating to polish his true qi, cultivate the myriad Tao treasure book, cultivate his soul power, and cultivate his innate bloodline. After a period of hard work, Night Sorrow's myriad Tao treasure book had reached the peak of the 5th level of the consolidation realm. It was only a few days ago that it entered the 6th level. Other than that, Night Sorrow was also nourishing his heavenly fate pearl of nihility. This was his greatest treasure. It could be said that it was the core of a world. Having the heavenly fate pearl of nihility was equivalent to having the void space. GJ. After cultivating for a few days, Night Sorrow's myriad Tao treasure book had also reached the 6th level of the consolidation realm. This Tian Lei Hua and the other two also came to Night Sorrow's house. You guys are all here. This is very good. It's time for you guys to take action again. Lei Hua sat down and said. What do you need us to do? Night Sorrow asked. I've been to the dark island you've explored with others. We've killed all the dark creatures on the island and built a stronghold. However, we can't solve the problem inside the passage, Lei Hua said. Then, Lei Hua explained the current situation to them in detail. There was a spatial tunnel at the bottom of the pit on the dark island. Cultivators of the 5th rank and above who entered would immediately trigger a strong energy rebound. Venerables were even worse. Later on, the celestial terminus K sent in a 4th rank cultivator. 4th level cultivators could enter, but they couldn't establish a foothold inside. There were too many dark creatures inside. Those who were lucky enough to escape didn't find anything. In other words, we need to kill our way in and continue to investigate the situation, right? Night Sorrow said. How should I put it? This isn't a compulsory mission. It's completely voluntary. After all, it's too dangerous. Ho Yuan looked at Night Sorrow and the others and said. What do you guys think? Night Sorrow looked at Ho Jian and the others and asked. I'll listen to the captain. Nan Liu said. We brothers will also listen to the captain's decision. Lei Bao and Lei Jing also made a decision. Same for me. I'll follow the captain's decision. Ho Jian said. I've decided to go. How should I put it? We live in the Eastern Xian domain. This is our home. Now that the Eastern Xian domain is in danger, we have to help if we can. Only then can we have a clear conscience. Night Sorrow said. Since you guys have decided to go, Tianji Tower will also make some arrangements. We will make the best preparations for you. Lei Hua said, you're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.